Hello.
Hi, how are you? Murad here.
Hi, Murad. It's Cosette. How are you?
Hi, Cosette. I didn't recognize you from the name on the screen.
Oh, that's yeah. Hi. My married name.
Oh, good, good.
I'll be back in a couple minutes. Just want to say hi. Murad, I miss you already.
Hey,
Cosette, I miss
Hello.
Miss Nashville.
Murad, are you going to Nashville?
no, I'm going to Denver, the Denver AFU.
Oh, my son will be there.
Oh, wow. That's right. I heard you mention that earlier. Yes. So
Yeah.
you'll be there. How old is he?
He's 25.
Okay.
So this is his last year in the youth.
Right, right. So you don't
Murad,
have
really-
listen to this shit.
Really tall guy.
Can you hear me or is the music too loud? I just want to say something really quick based on. So Cosette's son is part of the 31 story, and we found that out when she heard the podcast of Thor's podcast of when I was on the story. She's like, holy shit, he's talking about my son. So anyway.
Oh, his son was in the parking lot next to your car with
No,
the
no.
deflated
Her
tire.
son's the one that channeled the being.
Oh, I see. How
Right?
neat.
What the fuck?
How neat.
So Christian was telling Robbie the story, but Christian was talking about my son. And when I was listening to the podcast, I was just like, I started like practically jumping up and down. I was just like, what the heck? What are the chances here? Robbie's telling this story, but it involves my son. And what do you know? Dots connecting,
Fantastic. Fantastic. I didn't know that, I joined recently. So
Mhm.
by then Nashville had already, I think, closed, and I didn't know so much about it. So I, did the next one, which was Denver.
Right.
But, I was thinking if we all sort of collaborate and communicate, maybe we can all show up at the same event, or as many as possible. So that's why I told Robby, let's think of September AFU at Marco Island. It's a beautiful location. No one's not going to like it.
My son liked Marco Island. It's so far.
Yeah. But everything is just a plane ride away. So
yeah, or
Unless you drive like me.
3.
We got your son's gonna hopefully visit us, he will be on the show once these events and retreats are over. I'm gonna be able to communicate with him a little better. You as well. But yeah, he'll be on here as not only as one of us, but as a guest.
Gabe?
I think eventually he will be.
I think I know he will be.
Yeah,
He's got a great story and a lot of wisdom. So
yes, big time. Oops, sorry.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. His first retreat was January of last year, Marco Island.
I see. I had signed up for that.
Okay.
And at that time, COVID, the hybrid virus, Omicron, was raging.
The lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And, I, in good faith, could not go there because I'd been in a room with 1,000 people. And I screened my patients if they've been in contact with people who could have COVID. So I said, how can I go somewhere, and then show up on Monday morning and screen someone,
Exactly.
It just doesn't.
I do understand.
Yeah. So I was heartbroken and I canceled that reservation. And then I luckily got San Diego in February. So I did my first one in San Diego in February.
Oh, so did I.
No.
That was my first retreat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What color were you?
I don't even remember anymore. Because I've chosen, this is my 4th event, so I've had different colors. Each time I was either red or yellow, but I can't remember them.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember.
I was in orange. One of my dear friends that I met there, so that was what, April we went to San Diego?
I think February or March.
April, because
Yeah.
my anniversary is coming up. It's
I
been
see.
a year. Yeah. And so
I'm listening.
that December before, he had been diagnosed with colon cancer. They wanted to take out his colon. And he said, nope, not happening. He started doing Joe's work. Year later, this last December, he's completely cancer free.
Yay.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, isn't that great? So,
That's
and San
unbelievable.
Diego was his second retreat. So, but he ended up getting COVID from San Diego, as I did. And so he hasn't been back to one since, just because he doesn't want to, with being cancer free, he just doesn't want to compromise anything right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but he's cancer free, stage
That's
4 colon cancer. And
It's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
yeah, it's a great story. I just talk to him and I light up. I just get so excited. Yeah. It's wonderful. Can't hear you, Robby. Oh,
I
think
just
he's
blew on
talking
the
to other
screen and
people.
Deborah showed up. Ready? Julia. Hello.
Now, Jillian is on the call.
I'm here.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm acting like an idiot right now. As always.
Robby,
What up, Julia? Oh, Julia!
how you doing?
You were Julia K. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Cheryl is a red bean. What is going
I'm
on?
here with my sister.
No, sorry.
This is my sister, Kristen.
Hello,
Kristen, what's
Kristen.
up?
Hi, everyone. Thanks
Hello.
for having me.
Hell yeah! Thanks for joining the call. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Nothing but.
Julia's been really talking you all up.
Say, what's up?
She wanted to go home and go to sleep. I'm like, Kristen, I'm like, just stay. Just chill
Yes.
for a little bit.
You're gonna feel the energy. You already feel it. I see it in your face. You're already up and ready to roll. I see it. Smile got bigger. Got bigger.
That's Amy is a friend of mine.
Oh, hello, Amy Reynolds.
She's another dispensite.
Let's go. All right.
Hello, Lala.
Jeff, what's up? Nashville in the house.
Hey, Robby, how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Michael, get over here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're both Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Michael, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Oh,
Be right back. I gotta shut my dog up.
great to see you again.
Good to see you. You still taking pictures everywhere?
Man, I'm trying, but it's hard to keep up. Hi, Lala.
Yeah, hold on. We've got a
Hi,
little bit
Lala.
of a situation here.
Layla.
Lala.
Hi, Chuck. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I love seeing you on that side.
Thank you. Nice to see you. I missed you on Friday. I was laying down during the breath work.
Oh, okay. Oh,
See Cheryl again. Julia.
Layla, a quantum angel.
yes.
Hi,
Hi, Amy.
good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
I got it.
Small world.
Yeah. Where are you located, like physically?
California, near
Okay.
Sacramento.
Sorry.
Yeah. Are you
Okay.
are you in Florida?
Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl, I guess.
Not really?
Someone.
Let's go. Oh, Leela.
Yeah.
Leela.
Currently in Arkansas, though.
Hi, Robbie. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Robbie.
Hello, hello. Leela, I got your text and you are driving the car when I'm gone. I love it.
Okay.
Leela's gonna be the host for the dot connectors while I'm in Nashville.
Woohoo.
Let's
Nice.
go. So excited about that. And I got your message. I'm gonna reply tomorrow whenever.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah, again, Deborra, hello. Jillian, hello. Cheryl, what the fuck is up? You look comfy at home
I
already.
made it home. It
Are you on mute?
took
Yeah.
5 hours to get home because of the crap in Boston.
I heard there was a lot of traffic, and I heard that later. I saw Jillian sent a message. By the way, let everybody know that the traffic's gonna suck. I didn't see that. Brian,
Yeah.
what's up, brother?
Dude,
How are you?
I'm glad I didn't drive through Boston then.
Hey, guys.
Smart girl. Not
Hey,
to.
Hello, Deborah. Oh, I keep going to Deborah. Deborah, hello for the 80th time. Obviously, I want to say hello to you. Lee, how great is the news with Nashville? Me and Lee are on the same team in as far as volunteers. Super excited. Me and Lee met in Nashville.
Yes, bringing it.
Hello, Mindy. Unpacking. Such a great. Oops, sorry. Such a great weekend event. We are missing everybody right now. Driving, we'll be listening. Hello, Avis. How are you? Mary Claire, I saw that you posted something about a song. I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow. I saw a vocal. Thor, what's up, my brother?
Hello, my friends.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Thor.
What up?
Good to see y'all. I'm coming. My video is there. I am. Hey, there I am.
Hi, Thor.
Ah,
Hi, Murad.
happy Sunday.
Let's go.
Happy
So,
Sunday.
Yes, I can explain what this group is. I will definitely do that. And what's really cool, I'll do that as I open up the group. So, or as I open up the chat, we're gonna get started around 9:10. Just want to make sure that everybody's here that wants to be. Oh shit, Arsa work? Is that Arsa work?
Yeah.
Wow, Cosette. Arsa, what is going? That is beautiful. Oh, sorry, Chuck.
Hi, Thor.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? I missed you on Friday. I was laying down for the meditation when I got all your good news and everything. My back was hurting me a little bit, so I was just doing the laying down breath work with Christy. So, congratulations. So glad to
dude,
hear.
thank you.
So wonderful.
Thank you. She was over here yesterday, and she's awesome. It's going to work out really, really well.
Wow. It definitely will. Because you
Wait,
know.
what's the good news for those of us who weren't there?
So, Jim, yeah, Thor, you wanna share the news?
Yeah, I found a caregiver to go to Nashville with me, and I've been. Yep.
I was hoping that's what it was.
I have been searching and praying and putting it out to the universe, into my vortex, and yeah, it's worked out really, really well. She started reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and she is so sold. She is so into Dr. Joe. Her mom's into it. It's lining out so good. I'm so excited.
And is that all because of your recommendation, or she happened to stumble upon it exactly when she met you?
Her best friend told her about the book about a week ago, and she literally just ordered it. And so yesterday when I met her, she goes, yeah, my friend just recommended a book called Breaking the Habit. And I said, of Being Yourself? She goes, yeah, how'd you know? And I go, that's Dr. Joe.
Let's go. And now she's going to a Dr. Joe event.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she's an outdoorsy person, so we're already planning some adventures to go, check out waterfalls and lakes and rivers and great stuff. It's going to change my whole summer, man. It's going to change. Everything's changing.
Oh, actually, no. Yeah, Thor.
Yeah.
Let's go. Dude,
it's exciting.
You're floating right now. I'm looking at you right now. You are a different man. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So fucking awesome.
Yeah, a huge sense of relief and gratitude to the universe, man. A couple of weeks ago when shit went down, I'm like, all right, I can either be stressed out about this or I can trust the universe. And I decided to trust the universe, and look what happened.
Yep.
I didn't even stress out.
And it always happens that way.
Amen.
It never goes any other way when you trust the universe.
When you really trust, and it's not the easy thing to do, right?
Nope.
That's the scary
part. Be on the right vibe. Yeah, you got to be on the right vibration. You gotta. And again, trust the universe. But if you did not fall on your hammer / sword, none of this would have happened. You got out what you had to get out.
I did, and I look at this, and the universe was absolutely giving me signs, because the caregiver that I did have wasn't the right person for me. She wouldn't have that wouldn't have gotten me to the next level at Nashville. And then I had another caregiver, her name is Kelsey. And I was going to take her to Nashville, and then she got an infection and got staph infection. So she's in the hospital right now. And there were some things that weren't going to work about her, that I was trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. And so the universe said again, she's not the right one. And then Chelsea and Kelsey were the ones that I had. You can't make this shit up. And so Chelsea's the one. So it's good shit.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We all can't wait to see you. And anybody, we all can't wait to see you in Nashville. Anybody who's going to Nashville, do the emoji hand up. Just curious to see who's going as we talk. All right, let's see. Hello, Arsa. How you doing? Mary Claire, I said, what's up? Gina Marie is home. What's going on? We miss you so much.
Tara Perry is a friend of mine.
Tara-
She's another Nashville descendant.
All right, Tara Perry, very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. And again, I'm going to talk about what this group is, what we do. This isn't a group, actually. This is a community. And one thing that we do is meditate together. And the other thing is that we have these Sunday night calls. Big timeout. I just saw a hand up. Shout out to Josh Whiteland, last week's guest. Holy shit. All right, we're going to get started at 9:12.
On fucking fire, Josh. On fucking fire.
Dude, this is again what Thor, you're doing exactly what Thor just did. And look at what's going on. Talk about your last 3 days, if you don't mind, unless you just unmuted. Yeah, what's going on.
It's just been, this whole week has just been intense. I think I a couple weeks ago I posted in the group about feeling ecstatic, choosing to feel ecstatic, and ever since Cape Cod, all the way the past few days, Dr. Joe put in my story out there, people reaching out. I mean, just it's volunteering for Nashville. It's just been super. It's been incredible. It has been incredible. Ecstatic would barely describe it.
And it's just the beginning.
Yes.
It's just the beginning. It's our new model of life. New playbook,
Yes.
man. This is just the beginning. Ilka, you made it. Perfect. Ilka wasn't sure she was going to make it. Beautiful. She's at the ocean right now. Where she gets creative and does things at the ocean, makes music, and we make music together.
Hey.
Welcome back. Yeah.
And I'm just driving back now. I'm in the car.
Awesome.
Really
Awesome.
glad
Glad you
to
can
be
make
here.
it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right. Anybody else I didn't get? All right. So we're gonna get started. Julia, where'd your sister go? She go to bed? Okay. There you go. You stay. Just kidding. All right. So we're gonna get started. We have again last week we had Josh as our guest. That was last week, right? It was Cheryl. Josh, you were the guest last week, right? Sorry, I got yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Holy shit. That was last week, and look how much has happened. So last week we had Josh as a guest, and what he did was he took us through his journey. And I was talking to Lala today, who's our guest, and I said, I don't want people to think about what they're talking about. I just want them to talk. Like, that's basically what this is. We have so many amazing divine beings in this group that have stories that need to be heard. So I said to her, I was like, what are you planning on talking about? She's like, I'm just going to talk about my journey. So thanks to Lala, we now have a new name. I always hated Sunday night calls, so it's going to be called Sunday Night Journeys moving forward. And that's what it is. We've been talking about everyone's journey since they either met Dr. Joe right before, or not met, got involved with the whole lifestyle of Dr. Joe. But yeah, so thanks to Lala, we have a new name for the calls. It's going to be Sunday Night Journeys, and we have about 3 weeks lined up right now of journeys we're going to hear about, and I can't wait. They're so exciting. Everyone's lives are changing. It's such a fast, beautiful pace right now. So anyway, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go into that right now. So I will. So just so everybody knows, whoever's not in the weekly community, what we do is we're a collective community. We're not a group. We meet at Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. We meditate together, and then we create great conversation that creates future opportunity for all of us, and just dots connect, synchronicities just happen. Because of this community that we created, we just had this month has been incredible. We had 3 retreats, and each one of them were so different and so beautiful and so powerful. And the concept of them was collective energy, because a lot of us are going to be going to these events in the future. So we really wanted to plug in for the first time before going to an event. We didn't want to just meet at an event. So we've been building up so much power within the last month. But again, back to what this all is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern time. We also have Sunday night journeys, 9 p.m. every week Eastern time, with incredible guests that have stories that need to be heard. So this week we have the beautiful, amazing, talented singer-songwriter Lala Deaton, who I'm very fortunate of meeting. And so how she found out about this group actually was she heard Thor's podcast, How You Really Doing? And I was a guest. And we were talking about this community, and she said, I need to be part of this community. And it's what she said to me is basically, like, today we were talking about it, is it's everything that was explained. Like, this is what it is. It's love, simply put. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. So okay, so we're just going to dive into it because I completely lost my train of thought. All right, so again, so our guest is Lala Deaton. Lala is, again, sorry, I just lost my face. I got to find a song really quick. Thought I had it lined up, my bad.
I love you.
Who is that, Cheryl?
No, that was Travis.
Oh, yeah, Cheryl or Travis, same thing. Cheryl.
I'm channeling Cheryl, being loud. I love all of you.
We love you. Oh, file. All right, I'm gonna email myself this. So, sorry. All right, no, I got it. I got to email myself. So we created a song. So we had a beautiful divine being, Faye, who some of us met in Cancun. She was part of our community. She actually was on her deathbed, meditating with us for 2 weeks. And sorry, I won't even say her deathbed, her bridge. Cheryl, what's the greatest word I could use there?
She was getting ready to cross the equator.
She was graduating to the next level of soul consciousness. There's no separation. There is only different and higher vibration. We were all together. So I ended up writing a song for her, and it just happened to be the time that Lala joined our group, and I heard her voice. I was like, you got to get on here. And Michael, who's sitting here, he actually recommended, he's like, this song sounds great, but it needs heavenly sound, and that's the sound of a female's voice. And immediately Lala popped in my head, and I was like, I got to reach out to her and see if she could sing this. So yeah, so we created that song, and we're going to play it we're actually going to play it in a little bit. You can talk a little bit, then I'll play it because I got to find it. Hold on 1 second. I got to find it. Give me 2 seconds. I guess I can play. All right, guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to play it now so we can roll into it.
Yeah, I think it's a good lead in. Definitely play it for me.
Right. Yeah, this is gonna. So this is definitely the most favorite song I've ever made. The most powerful song I've ever made towards myself, at least for me. The way it opens up my heart, the things that have happened since I've created the song have been amazing. And then just having Lala on it, it just made it. It's such an incredible song. It's what music is made for. Music is a responsibility. It's nothing to play with, you know. And this right here is just, it's magic. So give me 2 seconds. Let me find it. Paula, how are you? Man, sorry guys. I usually move a little quicker than this. I'm trying to find the fucking phone.
No, you're fine. No pressure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So Cheryl, you have any wise words you want to say while I do this? Because you always have some wise words.
Well, I just want to say how awesome it was to see everybody. Julia, it was just Gina, Murad. It was so fun to be able to be there with you guys. And just a little time out of time. What an awesome thing to, and then we get to be in Nashville together. Some of us, it's just really an honor to be among, count myself among the ranks of you.
Thank you. Hey guys, treat. I guess we're gonna watch a kaleidoscope too.
Did you see the pilot?
Got it. Okay, got it.
Robby, real quick, I just want to introduce a friend of mine. Her name is Deborah.
Susie. Susie,
Hi,
how are you? I didn't even see you. How are you?
wonderful.
And so Deborah?
Yes, Deborah is a friend of mine. She lives in Florida. I met her through another group, and she's a big follower of Dr. Joe, but she has not been able to attend an event yet. And so this momentum will help her manifest. So thank you for letting her be a part of this.
Wonderful. And Deborah, Deborah, welcome. And I do remember you mentioning her. So thank you for introducing her to the whole community. Good stuff. Thank you very much. All right, I found this. So we have a kaleidoscope. So I'm going to share the kaleidoscope. So this is the song that we made for Faye, and there was a photo of her with wings in Cancun. She had these wings, these angel wings, and I think I did, didn't I? Or is that when I lost? That's when I stopped talking. So Faye, yeah, that's what I lost track of. So sorry guys, I got a lot going on. My brain is all over the place. So Faye, she ended up crossing the bridge, and we stop laughing. And I ended up writing a song for her, but she was someone that a lot of people met in Cancun. I ended up developing a great relationship with her husband. So she, as I mentioned, she was on her deathbed for her last 2 weeks meditating with us. And it was so beautiful. And she was the most powerful person in the room. You couldn't even tell what she was going through. So we made this song. I stared at the photo. Shout out to Gina. She actually sent me a poem that ignited this like from the earth type of writing I've never done before. She wrote poetry, and I just took some words and recreated it, and it just started this entire concept. So I'm going to share this now, and then we're going to jump into, I'm just going to hand it over to Lala after that. All right, cool. Share it. Enjoy. So I ended up taking that photo and turning it into a kaleidoscope. And this is it.
Look at the sun, lay on the earth. Tune into gratitude, breath is the birth. Take a deep breath, open your heart. Remember connection, the moon and the stars. Your heart is your home, the journey we roam. We always come back to the present, the known. Connect with the earth like the roots in the tree. That's a real freedom, the birds and the bees. The ocean, the seas, the fire that burns inside of your soul. It entirely turns a frequency shift. Rewire with strength inside of a place we were told wasn't safe. I look at your face, I rip off your mask. Present you with love, then I run off and laugh. Richer the glory, the tougher the task. I'm on the gravel road, my chosen path. In the past, the others left, but I never cried. I just tried to figure out what felt like truth inside. The goods and bads, the ups and downs, when they all combine. Sit and listen, I got stories that will blow your mind. I got stories that will blow your mind. I got stories that will blow your mind.
I got stories that'll blow your mind. So look at me with your honest eyes.
When we living in our hearts, we rise.
Let's dance and celebrate our lives. When we're living in our hearts, we rise.
Let's dance and celebrate our lives. Why do we hide from these answers, man? We all dancers, we have wings and we could fly and take chances, man. Why do we run from these problems? Why do we hide from these answers, man? We all dancers, we have wings and we could fly and take chances, man. Why do we run? Why do we run? Why do we run from our problems when we can fly? Why do we run? Why do we run from our problems when we can fly? Why do we run? Why do we run from our problems when we can fly and take chances? So let's dance and go solve them, man. Why do we run? We are one, we can fly away. We are one and we can fly away. We are one and we can fly away. So hold my hand and take a chance and come and fly with me. Won't you please come fly with me? Won't you please come fly with me? Won't you please come fly with me? So hold my hand and take a chance and come and fly with me. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Let's fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away.
Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. When we're living in our hearts, we rise. Let's dance and celebrate our lives. When we're living in our hearts, we rise. Let's dance and celebrate our lives. When we're living in our hearts, we rise. Let's dance and celebrate our lives. When we're living in our hearts, we rise. Let's dance and celebrate our lives. Fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away. Fly away, fly away, fly far away.
Wow. Oh, shit. All right. Oh my God. Good luck, right? Oh. Thank you, Lala. You made that song what it is. With your
Amazing,
voice.
Robbie. Amazing, brother.
Thank you. Whew. All right. This is how we open hearts all day, man. Oh my gosh. All right. So on to thank you, Nan. On to the weekly guest for the Sunday night journey. The way that this call got created was I wanted to introduce myself, which I do to everybody that joins the group. I want to make sure everybody knows who I am. Just wanted to say hello, and then the hello turned into like a 2-hour conversation. I was like, this lady has a lot of wisdom. Lala just told me so much stuff that I didn't know about, and I just wanted to keep listening. I was like, you need to talk to people, and that's basically how this all started. So without further ado, she's been on a journey in her life. She has a lot to tell, and she has a lot that she's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? She has a lot that she's trying to use the right word. She's going to be who she knows she's going to be very soon. And without further ado, Lala Deaton. Let's go.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
Yay, Lala! Woohoo! Woo!
Let's go.
Hey, Sam.
Hi, beautiful.
I got some of my Nashville family here. Amy, and I saw Tara and Jeff. Who else is here? Unmute yourself and tell me if you're here.
Lala, I love you. This is Cheryl.
Cheryl, I love you. My name is Robby Blair. And
Love you, Lala.
love you, Amy. I'm so glad you're on here tonight. So Amy is one of my Nashville dispensites. She and her hubby are sustainable farmers and just amazing, amazing people. We've actually done retreats out at her house. She lives a little bit outside of Nashville, but yeah, they've got a beautiful place. So glad you're here. Well, Robby asked me what I wanted to talk about tonight, or, you know, like if I had like a specific outline or whatever. And I said, no, I'm just going to talk about my journey. So that's what I figured I would do. I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants, because if I overthink things, then I lose the joy, and I don't want to lose the joy. I would rather just kind of be like stream of consciousness and talk. And if anyone like wants to interrupt me or interject anything along the way, if anyone is relating to something that I'm sharing and wants to share, I'd love that. Just come on in. So let's see, my story. I got to give some background about myself for my story to really kind of make sense. So I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and I had the most amazing mom and dad, and they raised me up in fundamental Christian Southern Baptist church. And my mom and dad were both very involved in the church. My mom was always the church pianist or organist, basically more the organist at any church we ever went to my entire life. And my dad was always a deacon and an usher and just very involved in the church. So we were there every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. And so that kind of built my foundation as a child for what God looked like to me. And there were things, even as a very young child, when I remember being, like 6, 7, 8 years old, and having things about Christianity that I was fully immersed in it, and I got baptized very young and accepted Jesus as my savior. And but there were things about it that just didn't sit right with me as a kid, even as a child. I just couldn't understand some things about God being an angry God, a jealous God, a vengeful God. And I would ask my mom and dad all kinds of questions, and my sister, she was 3 years older than me. And I was always really inquisitive about that. And I would ask them things, trying to figure out how but God is love. So how does this fit in? How do these things fit in? All these stories that don't make sense to who God is. And so that's kind of started me out on a little bit of a rocky road, just because I felt a little bit in turmoil within myself about my relationship with God, because I didn't really quite understand, was this an all-loving God, or what is God? I didn't quite get it. So but I immersed myself in it, and then I was a very musical kid. I'm a musician, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I was always into music. So my mom said I was singing from the time I was 2 years old. And yeah, so I was very much immersed in music, and started getting involved in church choir and school. I started playing in band in middle school and high school, and singing, and doing musicals and stuff. So when it came time to figure out what I wanted to do, I pretty much knew that I wanted to do something with music. So I decided to move to Nashville at the time. And I'm still in Nashville to this day, but there's a school there Belmont University. That's a really, really big music school. And that's where I ended up going to school. And so when I went to Nashville, my spiritual journey continued, but at that point, I found a non-denominational church that I went to for several years. But I was starting to really, now I'm an adult and I'm starting to kind of like, seek, and I'm curious, so I'm looking a little bit outside of the traditional Christianity box, and just exploring, and reading a lot. And I was always very, very inquisitive about just esoteric things. And so I started getting into some of the more just like other spiritual texts, and some of the more woo-woo, what I would call woo-woo stuff. Started listening to Wayne Dyer. My sister actually introduced me to Wayne Dyer. So this was around, I guess, about 2003. But I was seeking long before that, outside of the Christianity box. And so when I started finding people like Wayne Dyer and Abraham Hicks, and some of these people, like some of the Hay House authors that I was reading and being turned on to, it just started opening my mind up to a God that was bigger than the box that I felt like Christianity put the creator in. And I was just fascinated by this. And I started getting fascinated by, some like ancient texts, and started going down some of those rabbit holes. And I found that there were a lot of similarities with some of the fundamental things that Christianity talked about, and some of the fundamentals that I found in other texts and other religions and other spiritual teachings. But it was interesting because a lot of the other spiritual teachings I had been told were, taboo, that I shouldn't be looking at those things. And what I found was interesting is that, well, I'll get to that later, but a lot of the things about Christianity that that really don't resonate with me now is the total separation from God. The idea that we are separate from God, that we need something to be the conduit to get to the creator, that we don't have the power of God within us, even though Jesus talked about that all the time. And I'm gonna allude to that later because I wrote a song that's all about that. Yeah. But anyway, so this is my stream of consciousness, y'all. So just, you got to roll with me. Sorry, I might be all over the map a little bit.
You're not at all. I was all over the map. You're perfect.
So anyway, I continued to just immerse myself in all of these different ideas, and these different ideas about God, and it just kept expanding. And pretty early on, I'd say back around, I thought it was like 2003 to 2005-ish, that I got introduced to Dr. Joe. I saw the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And I saw him on there, and then I got his book. I don't know when that was released. I used to think it was like 2005, but I think it was more like 2007. And I read his first book, and I remember just my mind being blown wide open. I was also very much getting into Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden at the time, and I had read The Biology of Belief and The Wisdom of Your Cells and all of Bruce Lipton's books, and was just really everything was really resonating with me on a cellular level, and I just knew that I was, finding these nuggets of truth that I needed to really, really take in and try to, embody. And these were things that I wanted to use as tools to live my life. And I had some really bad issues with my back when I was in my, I don't know, probably mid-20s, and then again in my like early 40s. And I ended up having 2 back surgeries, and I almost had to have a third, but by the time the third issue came up, and it was the same disc in my lower back that had been bulging and had ruptured. So by the time it came around the third time, I actually used mind body healing. So I was doing physical core work, but I was also doing meditation. This was before Dr. Joe. So I was using meditation to heal myself, but I didn't know any of the Dr. Joe work at that time. I had read a book by a doctor named Dr. Sarno, something about you can heal your back or something like that. But anyway, Chuck is raising his hand. You know that book, Chuck?
I healed my back in 2004.
Yeah. So I was getting into some of the practices of the mind body healing, but I was a baby at it all. And I remember in 2010, I ended up getting into a group called, there was some industry people who brought together some of us and auditioned us to be in a musical group. It was 4 girls. And I ended up getting into that group, and it was called Sweetwater Rose. And the 2, our managers were the husband and wife team. And they were very much into TM, transcendental meditation. And so a couple of the other girls in the group were also big into meditation. So we would meditate together all the time, like before shows and before rehearsals. And anytime we got together, we would meditate. So that was kind of like, building my practice. And I was learning all these different I was gathering all these tools from my toolbox to, kind of help me with different things throughout, different things that I need to do shadow work on throughout my life. And so I was able to heal my back that third time, but then I've had a lot of issues kind of that came back with it, because I wasn't really dealing with the problems inside of me, the emotional scars, the energetic scars that had been left from some of the traumas in my life. And so these were causing lower back pain, and later on in life, neck pain. I had degenerative discs in my neck and my lower back, and some autoimmune problems. I had at one point in 1997, I ended up having a rash all over my entire body, and it continued for 4 months. I went to doctor after doctor after doctor. No one could figure out what was wrong with me. I lost, I'm 5'7", and I got down to 89 pounds. It was crazy. I almost died, and they just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And finally, I ended up at this allergy specialist who did all these tests on me, and basically gave me. I had like 25 pages, y'all, of things that I was allergic to, supposedly allergic to. And the one main thing that was really fucking me up was I had some kind of allergy to class A or class B corticosteroids, which is what they were treating me with. They were treating me by shot, by orally, topically. And so everything was just making me worse and worse. And they tried putting me on like rice and water diet, and nothing was working. So I had, I've had all these things. I had IBS I was diagnosed with when I was younger, and all these different things that like autoimmune diseases and just various ailments. And, I just kept treating it. I was treating all these things with, matter to matter, Western medicine style. And so as I'm learning and, like I said, gathering all these tools for my toolbox and just learning about a different God, a different creator than I was taught about growing up in the church. My mind started to expand, and I just was searching, and I just couldn't get enough. And so I would just read and read and read and read and read, and just gather as much information as I could. And so I remember I had, like I said, I had gotten into Dr. Joe, quite a ways back in the early 2000s. And I remember when so my journey's kind of like taken different turns along the way. It's kind of interesting because I have like my spiritual journey has intersected with other things that have kind of built my tribe. So I had ordered a Dr. Joe course. I mean, this was like way back. I had ordered a Dr. Joe course on Hay House, and had kind of gone through that. And
You
then
see Josh's comment about Hay House?
and then lost touch with it. How do I
Sorry,
see
just
that?
because I know you said you wanted to interact. So I'm gonna say it. I've been seeing Hay House.
On everything I look at all week. So Hay House
fucking
was,
go.
yeah, Hay House is a publishing company owned by Louise Hay. She graduated to the next density of consciousness, y'all. But anyway, she was an amazing lady. She wrote a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And I highly recommend it. It's a great like reference book. If you have any kind of physical ailments, you can look it up in the book, and it will give you ideas of what could be related to it, like energetically, what could be stuck, or what you might want to do some work on, some shadow work. So it's a great book.
Arsa loves that book.
Arsa, yes, it's a great book. I keep it in my nightstand because it's just a great reference
Chuck
book.
loves it too.
Right, Chuck.
Mhm.
So I highly recommend that. Okay, so you got to read Biology of Belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton. That was an amazing book. Mind Over Medicine by Dr. Lisa Rankin. Great, great, great book. And one of the ones that completely changed my life was Anita Moorjani's Dying to Be Me. I actually want to talk about that a little bit because it relates to my path. I'm going to talk about that right now. So Anita Moorjani, has anyone ever read that? Oh, I see the chat.
Just tell them the emoji the hand.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, to Mindy, we'll drop all the books in
Leaders read
the WhatsApp.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a whole list of books. I'll drop them in there. I think I dropped
A bunch of people read it.
Oh,
Susie
yeah.
read it.
Such a great movie, right? I've gifted that book to probably like 20 different people. Yes.
That's great.
So anyway, most of you, it looks like, have read it, but if you haven't read it, go get it. This woman, Anita Morjani, she had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the interesting thing was she spent her entire life. She was in a family where she had an arranged marriage. She had been arranged to be married to this young man at a when I don't know if it was arranged like when she was a teenager or what, but anyway, thankfully she had at least one parent who was understanding, when I think it was her father, and and she just said, I don't love this man. I don't want to, be in this marriage. And she chose to go against the wishes of the, like kind of like the religious upbringing that she was in, and not go through with this marriage. And so she was in that kind of like really structured paradigm, within her family, religious structure. And so lots of rules. And so in addition to that, her best friend and her father both passed away from cancer. So she developed this fear of cancer. And she actually, it was such a big fear to her that she started eating really healthy and just started changing her entire lifestyle to make sure that she did everything she could to prevent herself from getting cancer. But guess what happened? Her fear and her energy towards just the fear of the cancer, she developed cancer. She developed Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so she ended up with tumors from her, I think it was like from her neck down into her legs, just riddled her body. And she ended up, it was a long, process, but she just kept getting more and more sick. And she ended up bedridden, and all of her organs shut down in the end. And she passed, and she had this near-death experience. And in the experience, you have to read the book because she explains it so beautifully, and it actually kind of gives you as much as someone could explain what it's like to, be there. Actually, Michael, I love listening to you talk about it too. If anyone has not had a chance to hear Michael's story, you should talk to him about that. But anyway, she just describes it so beautifully. But the biggest takeaway from her near-death experience was that she realized who and what she was in this place where everything was love and everything was all one. And she went through like the whole life review and remembered other lives, and there was no time, so they were all happening at the same time. She could see what was happening in the hospital. She could see her brother on a plane flying to, come say his goodbyes. And she could hear the conversation down the hallway of the nurses and doctors, and all of this kind of came out later when she came back into her body and was telling them that she heard knew all of this. But she knew she had a choice. She could just stay where she was in, this amazing heavenly existence, new existence, where she realized that she was part of the creator. Or she could go back and continue on with a new mission in life. And she said that she knew at one point that she had to go back. And she also said she knew if she went back, that because of her realization of who she really is, that she would heal. She knew she would heal, that that body that was just like riddled with tumors all through her body and had no organ function at all, complete organ shutdown. She knew that it would completely reverse if she came back. So she chose to come back, and within like 3 or 4 days, her tumors were almost all gone. And the doctors and nurses they couldn't wrap their brains around it, and they insisted that she stay on and that they continue to do more testing. So they kept her for 2 more weeks, and she told them, you can test me all you want, but I'm healed. So she stayed there for 2 more weeks. And if I'm remembering it correctly, I've read it like 5 times. I should be remembering it correctly. But anyway, so yeah, she was healed. And so now it's interesting to hear her talk, because she's like, you know what, if I want to enjoy chocolate and a glass of wine, I'm going to have chocolate and a glass of wine. Like, she's no longer afraid of all that stuff, because the fear of all that will do more harm than if you know, that is what, Dr. Joe talks about. You can't change matter with matter. And we hear him kind of make fun of, the gluten-free diets, or the people that are like, whatever. And
The Karen.
That he respects that. He's just doing that because he's trying to prove a point.
Yep.
That you can do all of those things, but if you don't learn how to tap into what's going to change the things internally in you that are causing those things, then you can be as healthy as you want, but you can still get cancer. So
Say that one more time. Sorry.
if you don't deal with, Dr. Joe talks about breaking the habit of being yourself. So if you don't deal with the things that have internally left those emotional scars, and you don't deal with that on a just general life basis, you're going to keep processing things the same way. And you can eat as healthy as you want and be as healthy as you want. But if you're not healthy in an emotional quantum level, then you can still get sick, right? So back to my story. Right, this is where I get into the aliens, you guys. So any alien followers out there? We are all aliens.
Yeah, I'm a fucking alien.
Some of us are aliens. So anyway, we're all hybrids, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in 2000, I got Gaia TV way back when it first started. Like, most people didn't even know it was around when it was first around. And it was called Gaiam TV. Gaiam, however you say that. And anyway, they had this show on there called Cosmic Disclosure. Any Cosmic Disclosure watchers out there?
What's that?
Who's that? Yeah. Jeff. All right.
Mhm.
So
Cheryl, Brooke,
yeah. Oh, Brookie. Is that my Brookie?
Brooke Van Horn.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my.
I know Brookie.
Yeah. So Brookie, yeah, Brookie's my one of my besties for many, many, many years. So anyway, Cosmic Disclosure, I started watching that, and it was about when it first started, they actually, there's like 25 seasons now, or 26 seasons on Gaia TV, and that is missing the first 10 seasons because they took those off. The guy that they originally focused on in the first 10 seasons, his name was Corey Good. And so anyway, he was one of the very first people that came out to basically, he was a whistleblower and came out and started talking about the secret space program that he was recruited into when he was very young, like 6 years old. They started taking him into what they call what was that called? Help me out, you guys. Not Mylar, something like that program. Anyway.
My labs.
What was it?
My
Chuck?
Labs.
My Lab. Thank you. My Lab, or some people say Me Lab.
Good job.
Yes. And so they would take these kids in, they took Corey in, and they took him into, because they recognized like intuitive and like telepathic abilities in him. And so they wanted to enhance those abilities for the purpose of having him communicate with otherworldly beings, basically extraterrestrials that communicate telepathically. So so when he was like 17 or 18, they actually pulled him in kind of early to the program. And he started doing what many of the other secret space program whistleblowers have now come out and talked about, which is called the 20 and Back program. So if you've never heard of this, it's pretty out there. But the 20 and Back program, these people that were trained to do this, they would go and they would work off planet, and they would work for 20 years. And at the end of the 20 years, they would then basically mind wipe them, age regress them, and put them back in time to where they got them out of, and they would continue on with their life. And the idea was that the mind wipe would be permanent, but it wasn't permanent, because all these people now have started to have these memories and have come forward with them and kind of found each other now. And I'm getting to something with this. I'm not just telling you about alien shit just to talk about it. But it's interesting though, right? Like, and the other interesting thing too, y'all, is that there are all these different timelines going on at the same time, because Corey and other people that have been in the program have talked about that there were other people there that were from different decades. Like there were people there from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, like from different decades in time. And they were not, those decades were happening like at the same time when they were there. So crazy shit. Anyway, but in like, I think it was really early on. I want to say that it was definitely the first or second episode into Cosmic Disclosure, when Corey talked about his first interaction with these extraterrestrials or otherworldly higher density beings. And they had brought him to, it was kind of like a conference room. This was off planet, and there were like dignitaries there from all over the world. And anyway, they brought him up front to face this stage, and he didn't know what he was there for. Like they didn't tell him anything. They just stood him in front of the stage, and he was looking at the stage, and the people were sitting out in the audience kind of to his side and a little bit behind him. And all of a sudden he kind of saw their reaction, and he turned and he looked at the stage, and there was this like 8-foot tall blue being. Yep, blue being. And
going, yeah, in the background.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a blue being, and it was what they call a blue avian. So it was very thin and long arms, and it had you can look it up online. It had like little hair on its head. It was humanoid, so it had arms and legs, but it had like little hair on its head, and it had like a beak, but it was kind of like a malleable beak. And it didn't communicate by talking through its beak. It would communicate telepathically and make like motions with its hand. But so there was the blue being, and then there was like a 10 to 12 foot golden triangle head being that stood on, like, its feet had like 3 toes that it stood on, and it was really tall and really thin and almost like moved like fluid. And its head was in the shape of an upside down triangle, and it was golden. The whole being was golden. So anyway, the audience proceeded to ask questions through Corey. And so Corey knew at that moment, like, what he had, you know, why he was there, and what he had been trained for. So they started to ask questions through Corey, and he was, you know, getting all these answers telepathically from the blue being. And one of the questions they asked was, are you, oh, because they asked the blue being its name, and he said, I am Raw Tier Air. And so one of the audience members said, are you the Ra from the Law of One? And so Corey asked that question. Corey didn't know what the Law of One was at the time. And so he asked that question, and the being said, I am Ra Tier Air. And so if you've read the Law of One, you would know that by the way he answered that question, he was saying, yes, I am. It's the same Ra from the Law of One. Because, so the Law of One. Is anyone else familiar with the Law of One? I know Brookie's going to be familiar with it.
I am now, just from this weekend.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about it because it's been such a significant book for me to kind of open up my mind and expand my mind. And it just came at the perfect timing for me. So when I heard that, are you the Ra from the Law of One? And he said, I am Ra Tier Air. I was sitting there watching this with my friend Blue. He's another songwriter in Nashville. And I paused it. I'm like, do you know what the Law of One is? What's the Law of One? And Blue said, I don't know what the Law of One is. I'm like, I want to know what the Law of One is. So for whatever reason, like, that was I just had to know what that was. So I literally stopped watching it at that point and just started like Googling it and going down this rabbit hole. So I found this book, and it's 2 volumes, and it's called The Law of One, the Raw Material. And what it is it's a channeled work that was channeled from 1981 to 1984. And it was channeled by a university professor named Don Elkins, and one of his students, her name was Carla Ruckert, and then another guy named Jim McCarty. And Don Elkins had gotten interested in channeling, and he was really into like the UFO community, but he was more interested in, you know, just like the communication with the higher densities of consciousness. He had more of a spiritual interest in it than just like the whole UFO phenomenon. So he had been trying to figure out, you know, like, he had been studying channeled works and how to go about learning to channel. So he had pulled together a group of students, and just, you know, I don't know if it was students and some people in the community, but he had pulled together a fairly large group and they started meeting and talking about this. And, you know, he started sharing his knowledge of what he had learned as far as channeling goes. Been reading about the Anunnaki today. Yes.
That is from Mary Claire.
Mary Claire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just
So anyway, he started working with all of these students to do what they called getting attuned, to be able to take in some of the information and try to channel some of this information from these higher density beings. And what he had found out is that you have to be able to raise your frequency to a certain level, and then they actually have to kind of come down in their frequency to a certain level to be able to come through and channel through. So he worked on this attunement with people for like a 20-year period, literally. So from like the 60s until the early 80s. And in the early 80s, they had kind of honed it in. It ended up just being him and Carla and Jim McCarty. So Carla ended up being what Ra, the beings that it was channeled through, Ra called her the instrument. So she was the channeler. They would get Carla into a state of trance. So basically they were getting her into a meditative state. She would lay down on a table. They would get her into a deep meditative state. And Jim McCarty was the scribe. So he was taking notes, and Don Elkins was the questioner. So he would, he was the one sitting there and questioning through Carla. He would question Ra. And so they recorded all of this. This happened from 1981 to 1984. And they recorded everything on a cassette tape. You can actually go to LL Research, which is their company. And you can listen to the original recordings, but it's really painful to listen to because she's talking really slow as the transmission comes through. So you can't listen to it like through the in that way. You can go get the book. You can listen to it for free on YouTube. I can give you guys links. There's like a concordance for the Law of One online, lawofone.info, which is really interesting to go check out. But anyway, you do?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So so they proceeded to Carla got more and more attuned as they went on, and they had to be real careful because they would oftentimes they had to keep the sessions kind of short, because apparently it takes a lot of energy for this intense kind of channeling that Carla was doing. It's not the same kind of channeling that, say, Abraham Hicks does. Carla, they would oftentimes ask Ra, how is the instrument doing? Like, Ra would tell them this instrument is running low on vital energy. We should end the session after this next question, and they would say, is there anything that we can do to help the instrument be more comfortable? And it was interesting, like Ra would have them put like holy water and the Bible open to a certain verse, around her, because of what they called her distortion towards Christianity. So what we would call perception, they call distortion. So that's interesting because you have to kind of start to learn how they talk. They would call human beings mind, body, spirit complexes. And they called themselves a social memory complex. They are sixth density collective. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Law of One and what they taught. And I'm telling you guys this because it kind of builds the foundation as to it's part of my journey, and it's kind of led me on the path that I've gone down. And it's just fucking interesting, like it's really, really fascinating, because it's all about our soul consciousness journey and our soul consciousness evolution. And that is the whole reason that we are here and that we came back here, because we are trying to learn what we need to learn so that we can graduate to the next level of that soul consciousness journey. Whether you realize it or not, I mean, I do believe a lot of the things that I've learned through this channeled work, and I've gone on to read other channeled works as well that say a lot of the same things. we've done this many, many times. We've been living these third density existence, these lives over and over again, just kind of refining ourselves and gaining knowledge that we need to be able to move on to the next level of consciousness. So, and this all ties into Dr. Joe too, because Dr. Joe knows so much that he doesn't tell us. The blue beings that are showing up at the Dr. Joe events, raw. So anyway, so they started asking Ra about what is the law of one, and basically it's the idea that it's all about that we are love, we are all one, and it's about stopping the wheel of karma, and it's about forgiveness. And so Ra explains in the law of one that they give a lot of our galactic history because Don, the questioner, asks about all of those things. So it's very, if you're just interested in galactic history, go read it. It's just fascinating. But they also talk about this soul consciousness journey and how it starts. And we started as a consciousness, and before it was ever, any kind of matter, and we all know this. But so they go through the different densities of consciousness, and they talk about first density being the 4 elements. So fire, water, earth, and air. And so the first density of consciousness is a consciousness. Those things have consciousness. And that is the beginning of our evolution. So we all started there at some point. The consciousness that is now us, our soul consciousness, started in first density. And each density pulls towards the next density. So first density gets drawn towards second density. Second density is your animals, your plants, and trees, your minerals. And those things have a consciousness also. Trees have consciousness. At one point, Don asks Ra, and Ra starts, when a question is asked of Ra always starts the answer with, I am Ra. And that's how, when they asked the question through Corey at that meeting off planet of the blue being, are you the Ra from the law of one? And he said, I am Ra Tier Air. So that's how they always start the answer to each question. So the second density pulls towards the third. They asked of Ra at one point, what would be an example of second density consciousness that has gotten far along enough in their consciousness journey to where they could actually graduate to third density? And Ra says an example of that would be trees, some trees, and animals, especially like animals that we take in as pets, and we name them and we give them they start to take on a self-awareness. We start interacting with them and they start feeling love from a human. And so that starts pulling them towards third density consciousness. Now, animals and second density, they will reincarnate for a long time. I think they reincarnate like 30,000 years for approximately a 30,000 year cycle before they get to the point in their evolutionary consciousness to where they're ready to graduate to third density. Third density would be what we're in right now. And so we are in a chemical body, and we have a light body inside of us, but it's not fully activated. And we are actually starting to activate that now. So third density, this is the density, each density has a specific purpose. Like, so third density is the density of choosing your polarity according to Ra and the law of one. So in third density, we're choosing the path of either service to self, which is what they call the negative path, or service to others, which is what they call the positive path. Now that doesn't mean service to others doesn't mean you do everything for everyone else and you just let them walk on you and you don't, take care of yourself or whatever. So self-love and service to self are two different things. The service to self would be the negative path, like someone who's just evil, let's put it that way. But it's interesting because the Ra, and all the questioning and the law of one material, they don't describe, they say that there is really no like right or wrong way to go. It's all an extension of source creator just experiencing itself and experiencing like duality, just so that it knows itself more. And so we are actually giving the source creator an experience as extensions of source. And but the thing about source is that source is inherently just love. Source is love. And so for that reason, souls can journey on the negative path for only so long. So I'm going to get to that. But so third density, we are chemical bodies. We are in this humanoid form. There are other planets that have third density and have kind of humanoid chemical body, third density beings. But that's kind of neither here nor there. You can get into that. Dolores Cannon talks about some of that in her work, and many of you are into her stuff. She's amazing. So we basically reincarnate for approximately 75,000 years, according to the law of one. In third density, it's about a 75,000 year reincarnation cycle. Cosette, I freaking love this stuff. Gabe, my son, receives his information from the beings telepathically. Yes, visually, eyes open. He has had only one encounter with the white beings. Through meditation, the beings take him places. That's awesome, Cosette.
Dave is
That's
the
so
man.
cool. So
Yeah.
you're gonna, there's so many things that you and we will be able to learn from him. That's amazing.
Yep. And that's real.
That is real. So so we will go through this. We are, so interesting tidbit right now, y'all. We are at the very end of a 75,000 year cycle, according to the raw material, according to the law of one, according to the blue beings. So they, one of the things that they asked them, so keep in mind, this was channeled from 1981 to 1984, and they did kind of figure out that when Ra would answer questions about timeline things, Ra would say, it's kind of hard for us to like predict things in your time because there's no time for us the way you all experience time. But basically, they kind of told them in 1981 to 1984 that somewhere around 2012, there would be a polar shift and Mother Earth would go into fourth density consciousness. So Mother Earth is a consciousness, just like I said. And she has already shifted into fourth density consciousness. So we are living on a fourth density planet that is in fourth density consciousness. We are evolving to fourth density beings. We have DNA that is becoming activated within us. Some of the kids that had been born, Dolores Cannon talks about this too, if you've ever read anything about her, like her 3 waves of volunteers. There are, the first wave actually has some people like even, in my generation, there's people like from their like 40s to 60s, I think right now, that could be part of the first wave. I'm not sure about the timeline there, but there's a first wave, a second wave, and third wave of these people that are, you'll hear them referred to as starseeds or
Yep.
wanderers.
I have the videos for this. I'll share it in the WhatsApp group. Exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. The law of one refers to them as wanderers. And we are, and I consider anyone who's on this call in this room, you guys, whether you realize it or not, you are wanderers. You are what the law of one would call wanderers. They actually asked them in the raw material when they were channeling it, how many wanderers were on the earth at that point in time? And it was millions. Someone go to lawof1.info and look up how many wanderers are here at this time and find out what it says. But that was back in the early 80s. So there are many more of us here now. And what wanderers are, we are souls that had already previously graduated from the third density into a higher density of consciousness. And we chose to come back at this period in time and reincarnate back into a third density body to help usher in what the law of one calls the harvest. So the harvest is the end of the 75,000 year cycle. Other religions will refer to this. It's in all religious texts, like Christianity will refer to it as the second coming or the rapture. You'll hear about it referred to in different ways, but basically all it is it's a shift in our soul consciousness evolution. And we are moving into fourth density consciousness.
Quick question.
Yes.
Mom just asked, what about kids born 2011 and up?
So 2011 would be part of
Part
the
three.
third wave. So these kids that are being born in the third wave, you're going to find some of these kids that already have this DNA strand. It's already activated in them. They're born with it activated, with this fourth density, element. So that's why some of these kids are able to, they have some of these abilities where they can do what Murad did. They can, bend spoons and they can levitate, and they have these supernatural abilities. Like Dr. Joe says, becoming supernatural. We literally are becoming supernatural. So they're already activated. So that's why we're seeing a lot of these kids that are, coming to the Dr. Joe events, and they're just blowing our minds with what they already seem to intuitively know. And
Take the phones out of their hands and send them to Dr. Joe.
Exactly.
ASAP.
Exactly. So yeah, so and we need to help these kids remember, like the reason that some of us don't realize that we're wanderers and that we're here for this purpose to help people through this is because that when we get reincarnated back into a third density consciousness, this is the only density where there is what they call the veil of forgetting. So there's a veil when you're born, and that's why you can't remember any of your past lives. But when you are born, that the veil is the thinnest at that moment in time. And that's why you see some of these really young kids, like up until the age of, like 5 or 6 years old, that can remember past lives. And if you ever go down that rabbit hole, it's absolutely fascinating. These kids that can remember really specific past lives. They're remembering things at 3 years old that are just, mind blowing. So, anyway, a lot of these kids, like I said, are already activated. They already have this DNA strand activated. We are getting it activated. Like Murad said the other day, he was, wasn't it Murad that was showing us the spoons?
The spoons, yeah.
That
he twisted those.
He twisted with his freaking mind, y'all.
Yeah.
And so Murad is very much, activated into that fourth density consciousness, and we are all becoming that way, and Cheryl, she's communicating with these with people that have graduated on, and you know, a lot of us are getting more and more telepathic and empathic, and you know, we can feel each other's energy, and that's all a sign of us moving into this fourth density consciousness. And what Dr. Joe is doing, and he doesn't call it this, but he is literally helping us learn how to activate our kundalini, but what he's teaching us with the breath work, and you know, and tapping into the quantum, like we are activating this DNA that's been lying dormant in us for a very, very long time. So the law of one talks about all of this stuff, and they even talk about how to activate, you know, and how to get there. And they also talk about a lot of the science behind things, like how spacecrafts work, and just all kinds of really cool shit that you all should look into. Love this. Thanks, Lala, for intuiting to share this. Aha, when we struggle, we are feeling pulled apart from two different poles. The intensified struggles on Earth and in our personal life right now are waking us up. Yes, they are. Propelling us forward. Must make a choice and go all in to ascend to fourth density. What happens when wanderers unite?
Let's
fucking
fucking
go. Ascend in love. No more struggle. Yes.
Mary Claire in the house.
Yes, yes, yes.
And now,
Love
yeah.
it. So yeah, so all of these things are happening now for a very real higher purpose. And so we have all been drawn together for a reason. Gosh, y'all, I'm not even like halfway through my story yet. So I apologize, I'm long-winded. But we are here for a very high calling. And we have all found each other because if you've ever read any of like Edgar Casey's work, or any of these people that have, Dolores Cannon, who've worked with, you know, past life regression, and especially like past life regression of people that have had lives off planet, like Dolores Cannon has, you find out a lot about like what happens in the in between incarnations, and all of them have said that we travel in soul tribes, like soul packs. Like we have likely reincarnated together for thousands of years, and that's why you'll find people that are a lot of people will remember like times in the Egyptian times, like they'll remember reincarnations during Jesus's time, and then during the Egyptian time, and then, you know, certain like specific periods in time. And that's because all of us that are alive and together right now, we've all kind of reincarnated together and had these different lifetimes together. You'll even hear, and Dolores Cannon talks about this is just an interesting side note. If you've ever heard more than one person say that they were like Cleopatra, or like a really big figure in history, and you think, oh, well, they're full of shit, because I know someone else who said they're Cleopatra, so they must all be full of shit. Well, they're not necessarily full of shit, because here's what happens, according to Dolores's past life regression work, because she came across many of these, and what happens is they have there's something called imprinting. So people that do not try and bend the spoon, that's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. Then you'll see that it is the spoon that bends. It is only yourself. It is not, I think it says it is not the spoon that bends.
Oh, sorry.
Right? It is, yep, it is only yourself. Josh, I have not had a chance to watch your Sunday night yet, and I can't wait to go back and watch it, because I've heard so many cool things about it and about you, and I just like listen listen to people talking about you, and I feel activated.
We're a soul tribe,
So,
baby.
Yeah, so I can't wait to connect with you. Anyway, so there's something called imprinting. So
So it was, wow, yeah.
there are souls that have chosen to come back during this time that have actually never lived a third density life as a human on this planet. So they might have gone through third density consciousness on another planet, in kind of another form. So they don't really know what it's like to be a human, but they have this longing to come back and help usher in this harvest, because we're all one consciousness, and our evolutionary progress affects the higher densities evolutionary progress. So they can't progress unless we progress.
That's why Earth is so important.
That's why Earth is so important. So anyway, there are these some souls that are coming back in that don't have any experience on this planet as a human. So what they do is, instead, since they don't have like the past lives that have to build upon, they will get an imprint out of like what we call the Akashic records. They will imprint this into their soul consciousness, and to them it's as if it's exactly the same as having lived the life. They get the same exact memories and traumas, energetic traumas and all of those things. It's as if they lived that life, but they're called imprints. So you might hear someone that chose the Cleopatra imprint to come into this life with. So it gives them kind of like experience without going through the experience, but it helps them in this life to not be completely traumatized and be able to live as a human, having never had any past experience. They feel like they have, because they got the imprint. So the idea of past lives is likely a misnomer. No. We do have past lives. Exactly, they advance by helping us to advance.
The only reason I jumped in about that is what Anita Morjani had said. In Dying to Be Me, was that in her experience, her near-death experience did not support the idea of multiple lives lived consecutively.
Correct.
Because it's all simultaneous.
Yes, she said that because time is not linear outside of our 3D existence, when she had her life review, all of those lives were happening at the same time. So you're right, Cheryl, we refer to them as past lives because we only experience linear in this consciousness that we're in right now. And because we have that veil of forgetting, we don't remember the in-between right now, unless you're Michael or, people that have gotten to have the glimpse of that, and then they come back and they're completely changed, and they just don't understand why all of us just don't understand that everything is just love. Right, Michael?
That's right.
So,
it's not real.
And nothing's real. And nothing else matters.
That's right. So, but thankfully we have people like Michael that come back and just remind us and beat it into us. So I'm going to wrap up the law of one really quick so I can move on with my story. So we're living in a very important time. We are eventually going to all be part of the fourth density consciousness, and I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like, if we're going to be on like a new earth, but we are moving into that. That is the density of learning love, interestingly enough. And then everything is all here, all now. We can also access future lives as well. That's correct.
Big time.
The Egg, a short story, YouTube. Okay. The Egg, we need to look that up. The Egg, a
Thank
short
you, John.
story. Yes, so fifth density is the density of wisdom. I think fourth density, we reincarnate for about 30 million years. Fifth density is about 70 million years. That might be sixth. Anyway, sixth density, that's what Ra is, the blue avians. They are from sixth density. When we get to sixth density, we become a collective consciousness. And because of that, you cannot continue on the service to self path. The negative path at sixth density consciousness must shift to become one with the collective. So the reason I bring that up is because this is how we can have grace for people in our lives that frustrate the fuck out of us. Okay. When you have people that just you look at and you're like, man, they're just never going to get it. They're just they're so in their 3D ego existence bubble. They're all about themselves. They have like no spiritual journey, whatever. Okay. I used to judge and I'm not saying I don't still, like, I have to check myself all the time on that, because we're all human. But I used to judge people, with the spiritual ego or whatever you want to call it. But now from what I've learned and what I know, that we're all on this journey, just like a baby, that some babies, walk at 1 year old and then some aren't walking until way later or talking or whatever. But you're not going to be 18 years old and not talking. So everyone progresses at their own level. Some souls are older than others. Some have started their reincarnation cycle thousands of years before someone else. So when you see someone that doesn't seem to be on any kind of spiritual journey, is totally in their ego, and just you would consider kind of like a baby on the spiritual path, don't judge them. Look at them and have grace, because we're all going to get there. We're all going to graduate eventually to the next level of soul consciousness evolution. We're just in different points in our path. That's all it is. There are people that are far beyond me, and there are people that are, have a long way to get to where we are.
See that
But
flashing screen right there?
they're just a different age in their evolutionary process. That's all it is. That is all it is. It's not that we're better. It's not that someone that is a guru is better than us. They're just older than us on the spiritual journey. They've been doing it for a longer time. They've had more incarnations. They've had more time to work at it. So that, we can have grace because of that. So, and compassion for people that just, they're not there yet, and we can help them. So anyway, so now I'm just going to kind of get back to my journey. I started connecting with this whole community that was kind of like part UFO, alien followers, part spiritual journey, because it was all connecting with the law of one and all these other things that brought the soul consciousness. Since the harvest is upon us, more and more people started becoming aware of all of these things. So I kind of started building my tribe through the spiritual community, through the UFO community, which they were all melding. Even like the political community was kind of, meshing with like the spiritual community. And so my tribe kept getting bigger, and I ended up connecting with some people that were in that world, like speaker world. So I ended up performing at a place called East Ranch, which stands for Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This is in Washington State, and it's situated on these ley lines in this vortex between Mount Adam and Mount Hood. And it's famous for all of its UFO sightings. And so presidents have gone to this ranch, and it's been on Ancient Aliens.
Yep.
And it's been, talked about quite a bit. So I ended up being the entertainment one year at their annual event, which is called the Science and Spirituality World Transformation Conference. And so I was playing at the event one year, and it's, if you ever get a chance to go out there, you should, because every night around 9 o'clock they do a sky watch, and you literally sit out in this big field and easily like 30 to 50 UFOs in the sky, and you can put light lasers on them and they'll power up for you, and it's just amazing. It is amazing. And James Gilliland, who owns the ranch, he has had a lot of connection with the alien intelligence. So anyway, I was playing at the conference, and after the conference, it was in my second year there, and I stayed a few days after the conference and decided to go for a hike with some other people that were there. So we were hiking around these waterfalls, and I ended up slipping and falling on a slippery rock, and I broke my wrist. I shattered both of my wrist bones, and I had to fly back to Nashville and have surgery a few days later on my wrist, and it was really bad. So I had done damage all the way up my arm. I had problems with my elbow and frozen shoulder and all kinds of things. So I was really nursing this arm, my left wrist and arm. And I was using my right arm for everything, and I was kind of overusing it. And I got what felt like a pinched nerve in my neck. And so I called my doctor, my orthopedic surgeon, and it was a Friday, and he said, "Why don't you come in Monday? We can't get you in today." And it was so bad, I could not even lift my head up. Well, by Monday, I was starting to feel better, but I went ahead and kept the appointment, and I went in. And my doctor said, "Let's go ahead and do an MRI, even though you're feeling better. Let's just see what's going on." So they did an MRI. And when the results came back, he called me and he said, "Well, we didn't find a pinched nerve in your neck. I guess whatever it is kind of, just healed itself up." He said, "But the MRI caught a tumor, a brain tumor, on the other side of your brain. And it's kind of foggy. We can't really see it very clearly. I want to send you to a neurosurgeon or neurologist and have them do an MRI specifically on your brain." So I went, and I ended up having like 4 different opinions on this. They did the MRI. It was what they called an acoustic neuroma. It is a benign tumor, but it is a large tumor, and it grows off of your inner ear nerve. So they can't actually, if they do surgery, they can't actually get the whole tumor. They have to cut most of it out and then leave a little portion of it because it grows off of that inner ear nerve. It also is kind of gets like tangled up with your balance nerve and your facial cranial nerve, which controls the motor skills on the left side of my face. Which was interesting because I had Bell's palsy years before, and it was likely caused by the tumor, but I just didn't know I had it. So the 4 different surgeons I went to all said, surgery. But the results from the surgery, from that particular kind of surgery with this particular kind of tumor, are not always desirable, because they cut your balance nerve, and so you have to like relearn how to walk with your one balance nerve that's left, and I guess the other one supposedly doesn't really regenerate. So, and then they have to mess with that facial cranial nerve to get to the tumor. My tumor is too large for, or this tumor, I don't want to call it mine, but this tumor is too large for like radiation or gamma knife surgery is what they call it. So they, most of the time, the first doctor I went to said, you're going to lose your hearing in that ear, in that left ear. It's just what happens, basically, is what he told me. The other three surgeons said, the two of the other surgeons said it's a very high probability you lose your hearing. Most people lose their hearing. And I'm a musician, so I don't want to lose my hearing. I've already lost some hearing in that ear, and I have tinnitus, chronic tinnitus. But I don't believe in chronic anything, so fuck that.
Fuck that shit.
But anyway, I knew when I got the diagnosis, y'all, I'm like, fuck the surgery. I'm doing the Dr. Joe work. I can shrink this thing because I've seen what happens when people dig into that work. And I'd already been doing his meditations over the years, but I wasn't a committed student of the work at that point. I was a committed follower of Dr. Joe and committed believer in what his work does. And but I wasn't a committed student, but you better believe I became one. So at that point I plugged in and I just started doing the work. And I will tell you this, when I went to my first week long in Cancun last June, and shout out to Jeff Thorne, to my local Nashville peeps who know Jeff. He got me there. He gifted me and my girl Brookie our first ticket to our first event. So I will be forever grateful to him for that. And one day, Brookie and I really hope, we know that one day we are going to be able to pay that forward and gift that to someone else. So we're looking forward to that day. But anyway, so I went to that event and I, at one point during the 7-day event, I went, it was like probably day 5. I met him in Nashville. Lee. Oh, you met Jeff Thorne in Nashville? He's amazing. He's just has one of the biggest hearts you'll ever meet. If you get a chance to meet him, you will love him. Anyway, I so went to the Nashville event. About 5 days in, I said, I called one of the volunteers over and I said, I am having just the hardest time being able to sit up during these meditations. I've got severe pain in at that point, the degenerative discs in my neck were so painful. I could hardly, my pain level was on a 10 plus. And my lower back was giving me problems again too. And so I was having such a hard time sitting up during the meditations for that long. I was just in a lot of pain. So by the end of the week, that was probably like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days in, the volunteer told me, he said, if you need to lay down, you can lay down, but if you can push through, because you will be rewarded if you just push through. And so yes, it was,
just powerful.
it was a guy, it was a young kid, one of the young.
You change your.
Yes. So anyway, I pushed through, and by the last day, y'all, my pain had gone down to like a 6 or 7. And now, not even a year later, my pain in my lower back and my neck, I will have little flare-ups here and there sometimes with my lower back if I do something to cause that. But I think I've literally healed those discs because the pain in my neck is almost completely gone.
Let's go.
And the pain in my back is like, I don't have any pain in my neck or my back right now as I'm sitting here talking to you. And I sit up like so straight in my meditations and I have no problem with it at all. Like it's not been an issue. It's just been, and I sit up now all the time. Like I'll find myself out to dinner talking to people and I'm like halfway up my chair. I'm not even using the back of it. I'm just sitting up straight. It's
You're
just
on a
helping
bar
me.
stool.
I know. It's helped me so much. Yes. Really? Well, that's good to know. Kathy just said that I stand erect and I walk erect and that I don't walk like somebody who has back pain. So
That's a
yay.
fact. Yes.
Um,
Leela has her hand raised. So she has a question, just so you know.
Leela, okay, yes. How do I
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Hi Leela.
You don't have to do anything. Hi, I have a question. You said that before you were an avid student of Dr. Joe and so what like behaviorally changed for you between, you're making a distinction, that you became more avid in something. I'm just wondering what behaviorally changed for you. Like, what did you do different, if you don't mind?
Well, the main thing that I did different was I set an intention that I was going to dig into the work and the meditations. So I started. I set a goal. I made a promise to myself that I was going to get to a week long. And so I ordered the progressive and intensive. I know you get it when you go to the week long, but I already had it. And so I started going through that and preparing myself, knowing that I wanted to go to a week long. And I started doing the meditations every day.
Okay, so that was a shift then, was actually doing the work.
Yes, it was a
Okay,
shift
I see. That's awesome.
to getting serious about it.
About doing the meditations and
yes,
with intention. Oh, thank you so much. I really was confused. I wasn't really sure exactly what you meant. So that's really helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started, I just got real serious about it and started doing the work and watching the testimonials. And because I started also when I got the diagnosis at first, I didn't really have any symptoms with the tumor. And so I started to, as time went on, I started having more symptoms. Like I have a lot of numbness in this side of my face. And sometimes I have twitching and tingling, and that has to do with that facial cranial nerve that it's infringing upon. And I got, the tinnitus came on, and then I started having a little bit of hearing loss. And I had already had some frequency loss in that ear. When I got the diagnosis, they did a hearing test and, a bunch of other tests too. So, this link doesn't work for me. It just white and seems locked. What is the link?
It's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Lala, don't worry.
Okay.
Leela and Lala.
Leela, Lala. So yeah, I just dug in and started, doing the work. And but what's so cool, y'all? Isn't it cool? Like just, like I have gotten to have some pretty fun experiences in this. And like my first really, I started having like some mystical experiences in the meditations where like I would have light bodies in the quantum that would pull my light body out of myself and just like dance around with me in the quantum. And just real fun, playful stuff. But I had my first like super amazing experience when I did my first coherence healing. This was before I had gone to an event. So it was a coherence healing via Zoom. And it was before they even got to me in the healing. There were like 4 of us on the call. And before I was like 3rd or 4th in the lineup, and they were only on like the 2nd, I think, person. And I'm laying there on my couch, and all of a sudden I have this massive braingasm, and I get pulled out of my body through my crown chakra, and just pulled into this vibrational experience of beautiful oneness and love, and it was just the most amazing experience. And I've chased that ever since, and I know Dr. Joe says
Don't chase it.
don't chase
Don't
it.
chase it.
And I have, but I've had other experiences. I've had a being come to me at the I believe it was the Nashville AFU, who drilled, like, it was funny when Rob was talking about this the other night, because when he was talking about the hole being drilled in his head, because this being took what was like a hand drill and Murad's was a circular saw. And I thought it was interesting. We were at the same event, and a being used like a 3D tool to drill holes in our head. And so anyway, I've had 2 levitation experiences where I levitated, which was crazy feeling, y'all. And then our first meditation here the other night, I had my first blue being experience, which was because the being that came to me at the Nashville event, I don't know what it was. I didn't see it. I only heard it, and it sounded like a dragon being to me. It made like a dragon sound. But anyway, the 6 a.m. meditation we did the other morning, the first morning, I had a blue being that came down over me diagonally from above, and it just wrapped me. It was not solid. It was like an energetic feeling, but it was like it was like mist, blue, but it was a being.
Yep.
And it came down over me and wrapped me in love, and it was amazing. It's been a great journey, and I have my times, Thor, we talked about this on one of the calls, where just, you have your days where you just you're feeling the 3D symptoms of it are just plaguing you, and it's hard to stay in the feeling of healing, and wholeness, and that energetic signature of being whole and healed. But that's why we have each other, y'all, to remind each other that this is all part of the journey, and we are learning to heal things that we're learning preventative medicine, y'all. We are learning how to we're learning how to process things in a different way. Dr. Joe is teaching us how to, rewire and fire in a completely different way. But he's also beautifully teaching us how to interact with the quantum, and how to interact with our higher selves, and that this is a much bigger picture than our 3D bodies, that we are healing ourselves with a higher intelligence, and we've got this. We can do this. We are doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very grateful to have found you all. I could talk for many, many, many more hours, but I'm just gonna, I think, leave it there. And I wanted to share a song with you guys. When I got this diagnosis, I wrote this song, and it was kind of a download for me. It just kind of came to me pretty quickly. But anyway, I know that this song is meant to help people, and you might hear it. I've had people that have heard me sing it. What?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping to have it played at the Nashville event. But
It will be. There's people on this call that can help and make that happen. Let's go.
all right.
Yeah.
It's going to be played at the Nashville
fucking
event.
go.
Robbie, thank you. So, but I've played it live, and people are like, "Oh, it's a Christian song." And it's not a Christian song, but it has a lot of this. The reason that I wrote this, and I talk about Jesus in this song, I don't say Jesus's name, but I'm referring to Jesus, because Jesus said, all of these things and greater than the things that I have done, you can do. And So, I pose this question to Christians sometimes when they're trying to, have an argument with me about this, but I don't try to get into arguments about anything Christianity, but sometimes people will want to talk about these things. And I'm like, do you believe what Jesus said or do you not believe what Jesus said? Because Jesus was trying to teach us that the power is within us, the same freaking power.
The same power. You said it, and as you said it, I turned-
Yes. So
literally,
this-
Mary Claire just
yes,
wrote it.
Mary Claire, that's the name of my
Let's
song. It's
go.
called Same Power. That same power that did all those things that Jesus did is the same power that is within us. And we just have to learn how to use it. We've got to activate it and learn how to use it.
Wow.
And we can do all of those things. We are extensions of Source Creator. Don't ever dim your light, because if you dim your light, you're dimming the light of the Creator. And you're not doing anyone any good by playing small. If you play small, then you're making the Creator play small. So shine your light, become the most of what you can do with the gifts that the Creator has given you, and utilize those to the best of your ability. Let them shine, let them blossom, let them grow, and just do your thing. And we're going to change the world, y'all. We are changing the world. We are ushering in this harvest, and we're going to help people through this. And in return, we're helping each other and we're helping ourselves. So anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to share this song with you. I just want to, this is my little disclaimer. This song is not done. My engineer, producer just sent me the tracks because I'm going to be putting background vocals on them.
Yeah, top right, Mary Claire. Who gives a shit? It's all the energy and what
No,
you're
I
saying.
know. I'm not.
No,
saying
I
that-
know. You're a
I'm not saying-
perfectionist. That's why.
Let me talk. I'm not saying
Yes,
that what
yes.
you're going to hear is bad. I'm just saying that you're not hearing the finished version. So anyway, expect it to be greater, even greater.
Yes.
And can you play it?
Well, yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and then and for after that, we're gonna have the open forum. And before we do that, thank you so much for sharing your life. Oh, powerful. All right, guys.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna listen to this beautiful song. Beautiful song.
Breathe in, breathe out, won't give up now. No fear, no doubt, shout it out loud. There is nothing, nothing I can do. Let it loose, I'll face the storm. I've got my shield and armor on. I know there's no impossible with you. 'Cause the same power that speaks and moves mountains, that same power that fed the 5,000, that same power is still alive in me. Maker of the world, I see this universe.
Oh, wow. Wow. That was amazing. So inspirational.
You have
Thank
the most
you.
amazing voice, Lala. That is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Thor.
That is so gorgeous.
Thanks, you guys.
If I were there, I'd be giving you a hug right now too, Lala.
Yeah, I'm coming through the energy. Oh my God.
So our retreat went from 23 people to 4 people. There'd be a long line right now, I'll tell you that. If it was, oh my God. That was so beautiful. That was the first time any of us heard that. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I hear that right after a meditation.
That was so beautiful. That was amazing.
I love that. This is the same power that's still alive in me. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
What do you think about you?
I mean,
I love it.
the things that Jesus did, I mean, he literally took a loaf of bread and fed 5,000 people. You know, he mastered being able to change matter with his mind. And Ra talks about that in the Law of One. That's how they created they built the pyramids through thought form. They call it thought form. And this is what we're headed towards. This is what becoming supernatural eventually means. We're going to be able to do supernatural things as we progress in this soul consciousness journey.
That song was supernatural.
Yeah,
Thank you, Michael.
supernatural. So, you've been doing a good job of reading.
Yeah, thank you so much. Love you, girl. Good night, everyone. Going to jump off. Who's that?
Right here. So,
Okay,
thank you for sharing your story. Beautiful song. Good night, everyone. Oh, no. Hey.
Is that, did you say your name Nellie?
I think she might have left.
Oh, okay.
Nella. It's Nella. It's actually Nella.
Nella,
She's from,
that's so pretty.
she was actually week
Beautiful
2.
voice and song well. Thanks
Yeah,
for
Nella
sharing,
is-
Gail. Oh, Gail Lorraine. Thank you, Gail. Avis, thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing from Avis
You're-
Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing, Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you guys for listening. Cheryl, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cheryl. I love you. So glad I got to meet you. I love you, Lala, transcendent voice. Thank you, Mary Claire.
You two on a song together would sound amazing.
Oh, I want to
Yeah,
hear her.
yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Julia, beautiful. Thank you so much. And good night all. Was that Julia that was here?
Yes, Julia and sis.
Oh, that was in Julia and Sis. That was Julia
Yes,
that was here.
yes.
Okay. Oh, Julia. Thank you. Was that beautiful? You had to go and make me cry. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Thank you, Cosette. Lee, virtual hugs coming at you. Thank you, Lee. Hugging you from afar, Lala. You're so talented, Arsa. Thank you, Arsa. Brookie, my girl, my sister. I love you. You guys will meet Brookie.
I love you, sissy.
You'll meet her in Nashville, y'all.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you for sharing your superpower, your story. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it so much. I know I talked a long time. Avis, I have to go see you.
It was your platform.
Cheryl Knight, I love you so much. Keep shining. Oh, sparkly one. Oh, I love that. You sparkle too, my love. Josh Whiteland, I loved it. Josh, I can't wait to meet you. You're coming to Nashville, right?
Yes, I am. I can't wait to meet you either.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Yes, I'm gonna hear your story before then. I'm gonna go back and listen to that Sunday
Oh.
night that I missed.
Josh
So,
will be wearing a white hat in Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. And hopefully by then I'll know why.
Volunteer.
He's a
Oh,
volunteer.
might have volunteer, yes.
He
All
likes
right.
white hats. No.
Same with
No
Bobby's
white
volunteering too.
Oh yeah, I'm volunteering too.
Yes.
Mom, thank you. I love
Lee,
you.
and Lou.
I should see you on here.
Seriously, we got to
Good
line
night,
up,
everyone.
guys. We
Love
are
you all.
creating a
Can't wait.
powerhouse. Let's go.
We'll be in Nashville.
Yes.
Yes, Lee. All right. Amazing.
So if any, hey, Russ, what's up, Russ? Big shout out to Russ. Russ will be in Nashville. I met Russ in Nashville. He lives in Miami. I love you, man. Thanks for being on the call as always, man.
What a cool name.
May
Yeah,
I ask a
he's
question,
Russian.
share a comment?
Please.
Lala, that was spectacular. You and I have talked on the phone, and I believe you and I could sit around a bonfire and talk for days. And I think we have a very similar path. I love the shows that you talk about. I love ancient civilizations. I am in Washington State, so I believe if Lee's still on here, Lee and I are going to be going to that ranch.
Oh,
check that
yes.
out.
And tell James that Lala sent you.
I will do that. And
He's the only one.
yeah, I am just all into everything that you just talked about. And I really want to get into the law of one. That sounds really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I
really-
thought about just having a group get together and, like studying it together because it's
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be too.
Law of one nights.
We'll do
Well,
that.
that whole
Yeah.
that
Sorry.
whole first dimension, second dimension, third dimension that you described puts a whole new spin on it for me. And I really want to dig into that. I've also, as you and I have talked about, been on the Christianity wagon over the last year, figuring out what I believe. And I am thankful that I now feel very confident that Jesus was here to do a lot more than what the Bible says. And I get that now. And
They
yeah,
talk about Jesus in the law of one too, by the way. Pretty interesting.
yeah, he did amazing things. I just I
They
think
talk
the Bible
about
got it wrong.
Tesla too. I meant to tell Cheryl
Yeah.
that.
So I just wanted to say thank you. That I really, really enjoyed listening to you, and I learned a lot. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Look forward to conversations with you, one-on-one.
I do too. I would love to do that.
Hey, Jim, I just wanted to tell you, you look entirely different. You look happy. You look like I don't know, like something has been totally lifted from you. I know that you found a caregiver.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it shows. You glow. You look awesome. And I'm so happy to see you look
Thank
this
you.
way.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Good shit is happening. Yep, really good shit is happening right now.
Yeah.
Just keep on stepping into it. Just keep on stepping into it.
Well, thanks y'all for hanging out for such a long
I have to say that I didn't know any of that stuff you talked about. I'm like, what? When you said let's talk about aliens, I went, what? So you just opened up.
The thing about aliens is aliens are just us at a higher level of consciousness. That's why I bring all that in, because what we're calling aliens is
Blue
just
beings are aliens.
blue beings are.
Oh,
have
okay,
been-
okay.
Blue beings have been through third density consciousness, just like when they were third density, they were on the planet Venus. They inhabited the planet Venus. That used to be a third density planet that could house third density existence beings.
Wow.
And so
Well, from what I hear about the blue beings, that they sound like something I'd want to evolve into, right? They're real
eventually
fun and love
I-
and healing. I'm like, okay, let's do that.
we
I
may
get-
not
I
be
get
blue,
time.
but we will eventually get to sixth density consciousness collective, which is what they are. So we're headed in that direction. So
Well, anyway, I just wanted to thank you for talking about all that stuff, because it was really news to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love talking about anyone who wants to talk about aliens. I'm your girl.
Cosette, you're there. Okay, I guess I'm in the right group for the aliens.
Well, no, because
anyone who wants to talk about us at a higher level of consciousness, let's go for it, because we're
Well-
aliens. We're just
well,
going to aliens.
something I want to say is that the world wants to separate all of these categories that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But really, it is actually one collective. We all are.
coming together. Yep.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't separate it once you start understanding.
Science and religion are not separate. They are together. Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Say that one more time, Cosette. Holy shit.
Science and religion are not separate. They are together. They're one.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. God, the creator, is a master scientist. They can't be separate.
Exactly. And I think I feel that more scientists and more open-minded religious people are coming to that awareness.
I definitely, absolutely, it's happening.
Dr. Joe is leading the
is there.
trail. Yep.
Exactly. The
Dr. Joe
proof
leading
is there.
I often wonder who Dr. Joe was in a past life, like some great guru or
I
something.
wonder who he is in this life, man. He is
He is.
wild in this life.
No, I
You
mean,
look in his
we're-
eyes, you don't
we're-
see eyes like that.
We're seeing who he is in this life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
unreal. But I would love to be a fly on the wall, you know, in Dr. Joe's everyday existence, and just because he knows so much more than he is.
I want to know what he sees when he's up on stage. Like when he's looking out at everybody and he knows that like we didn't all get what he was saying. I want to know what he sees or what he feels while he's up on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
Big time.
When I was in Colombia, we would eat breakfast and lunch, and he would go up to this. He would eat with us. I was a volunteer there, and he would just sit over. He would just sit over there, and he'd order these eggs and just act like a normal person, and everybody just acted completely normal. It was like really cool. Just to, I mean, we didn't ask him anything, but he's
a guy.
He's
So he does eat with the volunteers then.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
That's cool.
I have
Hey,
a fun.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mary Claire.
Oh, that's okay. Can we go?
Well, okay. I guess I want to ask Josh, is he like, when he's just like eating his eggs, you know, is he like in like joy and like all excited and like, is he like this really, you know, like really happy person?
Yes, he had like he loved, we were in Colombia, he loved his he called it, I think he called it his Mexican breakfast, and he ate it, or he got it and he enjoyed it, and he would play like I guess in between, like on the breaks, he was like putting this ball around and stuff, and he's just very joyful, very happy.
No, that's so good to hear. Thank you, Mary Claire.
No, I was just going to share a fun story. So when I was in Dallas, I think Avis and I were sitting, it was a lunchtime, you know, you have all these amazing connections. And this lovely man, Khan, sat down, and we got into this really deep discussion. He was talking about how on a previous week long, he was almost going blind. Like he had horrible eyesight, right? And he was on the walking meditation. And I guess he said, Dr. Joe would go on these walking meditations, and he kind of cloaks himself in a hoodie and glasses, you know, just because kind of plays it kind of low key.
Incognito.
And he saw him, well, he walked up to him, and Dr. Joe had sunglasses on, and he took his glasses down and he just looked at Khan in the eyes. And there was just a moment for like 30 seconds in silence. And then he hugged him and he walked away. And Khan has 20/20 eyesight.
Wow.
Are you?
So I say, yeah, Dr. Joe has he has an extra layer of glass over his eyes. Like, you know, if you could put a needle in a retina, I guarantee you cannot do that to his eyes. If you stare into his eyes, or if you not even stare, just see them, there's this extra layer of something I've never seen on an eyeball.
I mean, that's an amazing story. I don't think Khan's like come out and like shared it or done a formal testimonial, but it was just like, wow. So just a fun Dr. Joe story.
That's an amazing story, Mary Claire. And what are you talking about, Robbie?
That's it.
Have you gotten that close to Dr. Joe's
You
eyes,
don't get
Robbie?
it? No, so like, you know, if you could stick a needle in your retina, right? But if you have basically like
what?
So all right,
I've never done that.
I'm following you, but did you look at his eyes and you saw that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So if you look in his eyes, you can just see this clear marble casing around it that I've never seen in an eyeball before.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, very
You know,
fast.
because sometimes, Robbie, you just say shit like that and then you just walk away and it's like, what?
I drop bombs and I go off.
You know what? I will say I
I'm
had a
calling you on
moment.
it now. I'm calling you on it every
No,
time.
I drop breadcrumbs. It's up to you to figure it out.
No, you're going to explain it. Okay.
I love you so much. Oh my God.
You need to
Ditto.
make that a lyric. I'll feed you some crumbs.
I'll feed you some crumbs. I'll feed you some crumbs. Inside joke for Cape Cod, sorry.
Yeah, but you shared the video.
Oh yeah, we shared the videos. Yeah.
I will say I had a moment.
Lila,
I
you
had
gotta-
a moment.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I had a moment with Dr. Joe on a walking meditation, and we're talking about past lives and this conversation. And Dr. Joe is examining this man, and he had some ailment, and he's with his guy. Dr. Joe's with his guy, and I always thought to myself, what am I going to say to Joe when I see Joe? I know I'm going to see Joe. And we locked eyes, Joe and I, and he just stopped and I stopped, and I'm just like slowly walking past him, and I can have this conversation with you guys because you're going to understand. Words were not spoken. I did not need to say anything, but it was like, hello, old friend, like from like past life kind of thing. Like, I know you, both of us just had this special moment, like this 30-second moment, and nothing got said, but it did get said in a different kind of way that I had to process, like, wow, that just happened. It was the coolest thing ever. It was an unspoken, spoken, mutual agreement, friendship kind of thing. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I'm telling you, we're gonna start communicating more and more telepathically.
Yeah.
And I bet you Dr. Joe's probably pretty fucking good at it
Yeah, way more.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got to meet Joe in Niagara Falls again on a walking meditation, and he was right here. I mean, just this close. And the eye contact with him is deep. Like, it's just really, really deep. I didn't try to put a needle in his eye or anything, so I didn't notice the extra glass there, but I always wondered too, I'm like, what will I say to Joe when I get the chance to meet him? And really all I want to say is thank you, Joe, for committing your life to do this. And I said, Joe, I just want to thank you for all you've done. He goes, no, I want to thank you. I've been watching you, and you've been going all in this week. You keep going, and you notice the small things. It's not always a big bang that's going to happen. It's the small things. And I'm just in awe. Like Dr. Joe's talking to me. Dr. Joe's tried to listen. And he said a lot of other things I know, which I don't quite remember. But he had his hands on my shoulders, and I had my hand on his arm. And he is so humble and so sincere and so authentic that it just reaches you. It just touches you. I mean, all you did was walk by him and it touched you. He talks about when he goes to the airport, he tries to spread his radiance, around, and he sees the effect of what he's doing. And I think we can all do that, just spread our stuff around. And he said,
That'd be a fun exercise.
I did it when I did it with somebody when we went on the last trip, and everything went smoothly. Everything. It was awesome. But then he said, at the end, he said, let's make history. And he's just like, you just got to keep going. It's just, that guy is awesome. Guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Claire, did you just put that question in, or is that old? About Jesus?
Well, you didn't answer it, so I guess, yeah. So your perspective on how Jesus plays into all this, loaded question.
I believe that Jesus was one of the greatest teachers that ever walked in 3D consciousness. I think he was a great master, and he was of a much higher consciousness. Jesus was a wanderer according to the law of one. He came back. He was about to graduate to 5th density, the density of wisdom. And he chose to reincarnate back into 3rd density when he came back, to help raise the collective consciousness, and for a very specific purpose. So he had a high calling, and he knew from a very young age. They said in the Law of One that he had an altercation with a child. When he was a child, he was playing with another child, and they said he fatally wounded. He got angry and fatally wounded the other child, which means he killed him fatally.
Oh, that wasn't in the Bible.
No, and there's also 2 Gospels of Jesus though that are not in the Bible that they took out. But Jesus was he was a mystical kid. He played with wands and stuff, and but anyway, he fatally wounded this kid, and they said that the veil was very thin with him. He remembered who he was very early on, and that he had a higher purpose. When that happened, that incident with the child happened, he realized then how powerful he was, and he committed himself from that moment on, because it was not, apparently it was like an accident. He didn't mean to kill the kid. It almost sounds as if he like touched him, and it was so powerful that the kid died. But anyway, they don't get into detail about how he fatally wounded the child, but it sounds like it was an energetic thing almost. But when he realized that he had that kind of power through his energy, through his emotions, he committed himself at that point to the service to others path, and that Law of One mission, and that and he started, he really started on his journey then at a very young age, and was very committed to the higher consciousness level of learning. So he was a force, and he was here to teach us about the Law of One. That's what I believe.
Thank you. Yeah.
Lala, have you ever heard that Jesus was an Essene, which is like a part of the Jewish, it's like the enlightened ones of the Jewish cult, or not cult, but faith?
Yeah, I have heard that. I've also heard that Jesus lived on in India for many years.
It was like 30 years of his life. He left and went and studied, and he studied with the gurus of India. That's where a lot of his teachings came from, or his self-wisdom was during that period of time.
So he had a very strong power. He just enlightened it and amped it up.
He chose to use it for good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Story does not change.
I have something that I've been throwing around in my head, and I'm just going to put it out there because I think it's very interesting, because you mentioned it in your song too about feeding the 5,000. And one thing you said is, he learned how to change 3D matter. What if Jesus was here to teach meditation? What if there's 5,000 people at the Mount, the Sermon on the Mount, and he was teaching meditation?
I think he absolutely was. I absolutely think he was.
Yeah, and they said that manna came down from heaven, and that's what fed the people. Manna is also a term for the cerebral spinal fluid. So when manna feeds the brain, that's manna, and this is referred to as heaven. So that's manna in heaven.
Yes, Aaron Abke has a great series on Jesus, and he talks about that too. He says that Jesus was absolutely teaching Kundalini activation.
Big time.
Yeah.
100%.
And there have been different periods in time where Ra talks about this in the Law of One. They asked them in the Law of One, are you the same Ra that came and visited the Egyptians 11,000 years ago? And they said, yes, they were the same ones. They walked, that was the only time they I think that was only one of 2 times that they actually physically walked among us. And they said that they stayed as long as they could, but what happened was every time that they would come to share the law of one, the people would take the message and they would distort it and they would turn it into cults and religion, is what Ross said. And
Sounds about right.
yeah. And so they said that it would get distorted. And when that would happen, the consciousness would lower, and then Ra was not able to continue to stay in communication because and Ra can't communicate until the collective consciousness reaches a certain vibration. And that's why they didn't come back until the early 80s, because the collective consciousness had not yet risen to the point to where they could actually return to share the message. So they're here, they've been here ever since the 80s now because of the raise in the collective consciousness, the vibrational collective consciousness. So yeah, they have visited before and shared this message before. And it's just so cool that we get to experience them now, you know?
Yep.
Have you guys heard of the Dr. Joe story when he broke his back and he was laid up and he read the White Book? I think that's also channeled from Ra.
The White Book?
Yeah, it's literally called the White Book. And I think I'm pretty sure it's Ra that talks in there. And I've read some of that, and it's really amazing. So I'm really interested in the Law of One.
I'll have to look that up, the White Book. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, this
If you can find a link on that, could you put that in our chat if you can find a link?
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Mary Claire, thank you for joining us.
So Russell just said Ramtha. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Anybody hear that?
What was that in
Oh.
relation to?
I'm not sure.
Was it Ramtha that was on the White Book?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
There you go.
It wasn't Ra. Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna
It
look
starts
that
with
up.
Ra.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Oh my God.
Ramtha.
I just like the Ra thing. Like I've seen the videos and yeah, everything you're just saying is just bringing back
If
a
you
lot of
guys are
stuff.
interested, I highly encourage you to read The Law of One. But also, there's a guy named Aaron Abke. He's one of my favorite teachers of higher consciousness living, and he dumbs everything down. He's super intelligent. He's super like no ego, and he is a magnificent teacher of the Law of One. He also teaches A Course in Miracles, and he's just teaches higher consciousness in general. And he teaches. He has something called 4D University that you can. It's kind of like an online school that you can do. I've been following him for years, way before his 4D University, and he's got a great playlist. He's got tons of playlists on his YouTube channel. He's got a whole playlist on Jesus. He's got a whole playlist series on the Law of One. He's got a series on Kundalini activation. There's a lot of great stuff on his YouTube
What's
channel.
his name, Aaron?
Here, I'm gonna put his name in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Aaron Abke.
I carry around this like bag of books. It's like a big bag, and it has like Wayne Dyer and the tons of books, Neville Goddard, and I just carry them all around with me because I'm always looking at them all. Yeah, I'm always looking at them all, and it's almost like even when you're talking, it's like in my mind, it's like almost like my brain can't comprehend so many dimensions, so I have to put it into little categories so that I can or if I'm speaking Christianese or am I speaking vibration, it's all vibration, but am I speaking like what words am I using and who am I communicating with, because it all says the same thing. I feel like it all says the same thing in different it's just all roads lead to Rome, it's just like
Absolutely. It's so fascinating, all the similarities. Yeah. You just gotta
I gotta say, I love this conversation.
So do I.
It's just like,
My mind is on fire right now.
right? I love it.
No,
Yeah,
I
this
dig
has been
Let's
great.
fucking go. Coach, said, you had your hand up, I think like 3 minutes ago. Was that what you were gonna say, or you had like something else you were gonna say, or a question? Sorry.
No, I have a question. So, and you might know the answer, but I could ask you at a different time. Everybody's probably getting tired and it's getting late. So
This is,
I can ask you.
there's no rush in it. There's no time when we're in this fucking quantum field.
Well, the question I have.
No, it's not. Exactly, unless there's an appointment, unless they have a call that starts at 9 PM, you gotta leave dinner, so we make the call. But aside from that, there's no time. Sorry, sorry.
Well, no, because if the blue beans come from the sixth dimension, well, that's the collective consciousness, come from Venus. But I've been told that my soul comes from Venus. And I've had tens of thousands of lifetimes. But I guess if time is irrelevant, I guess I'm not doing this very well, asking the question very well.
I can answer you.
You can?
You're like,
You don't need to communicate with words, just do it telepathically.
you're you're likely a wanderer from the sixth density. You reincarnated back for this time, but you're probably of the sixth density.
Well, I have no doubt about that.
Consciousness.
No doubt.
You've been
So-
through all of you've been through the whole third density reincarnation cycle. You've been through the fourth density reincarnation cycle. You've been through the fifth density reincarnation cycle. You probably were sixth density consciousness, collective consciousness of the raw density consciousness. And you chose, because there are wanderers from fourth through sixth density here right now.
Got it. Okay, that's where I was kind of conflicted, like
So
from
you-
Venus, but consciousness, I was
Yeah, if you-
overlapping them, but needed clarity.
if you probably, so if you came from Venus, you likely lived your third density consciousness incarnations on that planet, on Venus, when it was a third density planet, because that's when raw came from Venus. So and when they were on Venus, they were third density consciousness. They were in the period of their soul evolution process that we are in right now. They were in this period of choosing their polarity and all of that in third density on Venus. So it was a different planet then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah.
Hey, Lala.
Yes.
I believe we all have a mission when we come down to Earth. Have you figured out, or have you clarified your mission? Do you know what you're here to learn?
We're all here to learn the same thing. We're all here to learn about that we are all one, that everything is love, and that third density in particular is the density of learning the lessons that will stop that karmic cycle and allow us to be able to move on to the next level of our soul consciousness evolution.
We bring our wisdom back to source.
We are all on a journey back to source. That's all. We are extensions of source creator, having an experience. We are giving the creator an experience through us. We're learning along the way, and we are just making our way back to source. And it's just a consciousness evolutionary process to get there.
Through
So
wisdom.
We all really have the same through learning.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way. I've never thought that we all have that same.
We all
I
have
thought I had my own individual thing. Like I chose to come down here to figure out unconditional love, or I chose, to come down here and figure out whatever.
Well, during your
We ran out of M&Ms and Michael got hungry. We spilled a bowl of marbles.
as you reincarnate through this third density, these incarnation cycles, you are learning you are coming back over and over again to experience some things over and over again to learn specific lessons. Because third density is, they say, one of the hardest densities of soul consciousness to go through. This is the one where we're learning all the shit, where we're trying
It's a lot at once.
shit. Yes, and we have lifetimes where we get the same thing thrown at us because we didn't get it in the last lifetime.
Yeah.
We
Is
didn't
that
learn the
karmic?
lesson. What?
Is that karmic? I don't totally understand karmic.
Yes, so that is karmic. And
So-
something that's interesting, Jim, that I'm going to bring up because this will be interesting to you. It was interesting to me too, with my diagnosis and stuff. But Ross says that that people that come into this life and have like tragedies happen, or like, even let me go a step further than that. People that come into this life and are born with some kind of handicap, like maybe you're born, with no legs, or born with some kind of debilitating handicap, or even disease. Ross says that those souls that choose that, they actually choose that life because they want a strong catalyst to remember who they are. And also that choosing that kind of existence speeds up your karmic journey, your karmic learning. And so the people, they said that there's actually like not like a waiting list, but like that's like a big thing, is souls want to reincarnate with disabilities because it speeds up the karmic learning process.
So can you explain
He
the karmic
took a
learning
lot
process?
on in this lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I saw a psychic once and she started the conversation by saying, wow, you chose a very karmic life this time. That's the very first thing she said.
Yes.
It all
So,
makes so much sense.
Can you explain?
And
Yeah, because I'm in this wheelchair for a reason. I know I am. So can you explain karmic?
Well, Cosette was trying to, you said it a couple times. We take a lot on, we take a lot on. Sometime could you expand on that, Cosette?
Well, because of karma, like I was just agreeing with Lala, is that karmically we take a lot on because we're trying to learn a lot. And that's our purpose of coming to this third dimension reality, is to take it on and learn these lessons so we can gain wisdom from them. And we all know what wisdom is. It's remembering and having that experience without that emotional charge. We can bring that wisdom back to source. And
Because Dr. Joe says that about bringing it back.
Right. And a lot of us take on a lot of shit, and it's what are we going to learn from it? And if we can learn from it, we're working out karma and we don't have to do it again in the next lifetime.
Yes.
We can take on a different journey.
Boy, I love that. I love that.
So what
Thank
does it
you.
mean to work out karma?
Thor, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you were not in the position that you're in right now, and if you were not in that wheelchair, if you were walking around, just fine right now, do you think that you would be on the same journey, spiritual journey, that you
Absolutely
are
not.
on right now at
Nope.
this moment?
Absolutely not.
There it is.
There's your answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
so,
You knew that. Your soul knew that.
and that psychic also said you had a very hard time deciding if you were going to come down for this one because you knew it was going to be tough.
Mhm.
So I knew this was going to be tough, which
Yeah, you
I mean,
did.
the awareness of that is fucking huge. Because now I can say, okay, I'm here for a reason. I know it's going to work out because I chose to do this. Now I just got to figure out my lessons. And I just,
Right. But
Conversations with God, I think, said the same thing too, that the line is really long to come down here with a handicap or a disability. that
Yeah.
line is super
Wow.
long. And,
Conversations with God,
and
that's
it,
different too.
and I think, and I
And
like
you
the
got the
word,
golden ticket.
and,
Hey, look at me,
and
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory right here.
Right.
Willy in the wheelchair factory.
And it also said that there's nothing to learn here. It's only remembering. It's just remembering oneness. It's just remembering wholeness. And I like that word remembering.
Versus learning.
Even in those lessons, every time I face a lesson, all I'm doing is remembering, oh, I believe the lie again. I believe that I was separate. Back to love. And it's just, and then those lessons keep repeating until I remember.
You're right, Josh. Thank you. Versus learning, remembering. I like that.
Oh, that's important.
Learning is a lie. We know everything.
Yeah, it's already inside of us.
Right.
We also only project a small essence of our soul consciousness into this human form.
I think that's totally true. I think that's true, Lala, because why is it, how come it could be so hard to try to create that feeling of being in love, you know, like to create in your manifesting, right? Why is that hard? So, you know, I think it's because what you're saying, we have to, and you, Joe, we have to remember it. And
there's something else to remember is that we chose this. We chose to come here. We wanted this experience. We coveted it. It was desirable because only on earth can we have this experience and take that wisdom back to source. So only here. So our souls wanted this, as hard as that can be to hear sometimes, because like, why the hell did I pick this? You know, but we did, and we have to remind ourselves we wanted to come and have this experience, and it can be so damn hard sometimes.
We made this decision, and yeah, golden ticket, just like you said, Thor.
I love how Bruce Lipton describes it. Somebody asked him, why did you know, how would you explain your existence here? He goes, I can explain it in one word: chocolate.
Yes, I love him.
Yes, I love him too. It's like, you can love chocolate, and imagine how much when you are having that chocolate and you love it, that's love. That's why you came to Earth, is to experience chocolate.
Hey, really quick, I just want to say, my boy Russell, thank you all for reminding me these Sunday conversations are great. I just wanted to make sure everybody heard that, because I don't think he can speak as far as. But yeah, seriously, these Sunday conversations are more than great. I think I love them. They're getting deeper. They're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah.
And wooier, is that a word?
Wooier, yeah.
Wooier.
Wooier.
Did you just say?
But you know what? I still use that term woo woo, but to me, the woo woo has become more real than
I'm just
all of
playing.
the other 3D bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm still confused about karma. Did I do something wrong in another lifetime and I got to come back and pay for it?
you know what, Jim? We've all done things in other lifetimes that and it's not that we're paying for it. We are getting the same lessons over and over again until we understand, till we gain the wisdom that we need to be more like the creator. We're learning the wisdom of source. We're learning to think like source. And if we get a lesson that comes at us and we process it and go through it in a 3D separate from source way, it's going to come at us again until we learn.
And that's karma?
That's karma.
Because we didn't handle it.
We'll keep getting those same lessons until we see it as creator and learn to process it as
So until we handle a situation as creator,
we will.
Then it's karmic. We've got. Oh my God! Thank you. Wow.
And even it simplifies even on this level. You know, I think karma is more 3D. As far as like the lessons you learn, they'll never go away until like the smallest things, like if someone drank a Coca-Cola out of my out of the refrigerator and I didn't say, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I completely lost my train of thought, but I think karma is a 3D thing and truth is the reality. And what I think, what you just said, the beginning of it, of what you just said is it kind of went against what we just said before that. You came here with your conditions because you are a superhero. You have the golden ticket.
He came here and he chose the life that he's in right now because he knew that it would catapult him more quickly to remembering
Got it. Okay.
who he is
Yeah.
as the
Be more like
creator.
Source.
And when he can remember who he is as the creator, then he can experience these things being given to him as the creator would. And that is the key. That is the key to everything. Once we can get to that point where we are embodying our experiences as the creator, then we are able to learn those and get past those karmic lessons.
And is that Christ consciousness?
Yes, that is
Yes.
Christ consciousness.
Okay, so can I give you a situation that I think I feel a lot of relief about that just came to me tonight is that in the first weekend of May, my daughter graduates from college. And so I'm driving out to Boise with my new caregiver and my ex-wife is going to be there and her parents and my mom and my sister, all of which I have a very hard time with. And, you know, I've been thinking about it the last couple of days and it'll come into my mind. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be around them. They this, they that. And then it just hit me tonight. I'm like, I don't need to worry about a damn thing. I just go with love in my heart. And I mean, how do I want to feel afterwards? I want it to be smooth and easy for everybody. And I go with love in my heart as Source would, as Jesus would, and I treat them as Jesus would. Actually, I treat myself as Jesus would. And karmically, I'm getting over something that I wasn't doing correctly or not correctly.
Bingo. Yes. No,
Okay.
you're right. And you know what else? Jesus, you know why Jesus treats them the way he treated them? Because Jesus knew that they are also Source creator. They're just in kindergarten.
Yeah. Okay.
They just haven't had all the schooling that he had at that point. Your family, this is not belittling them or putting them down in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they're just
They're in kindergarten. And that's not just, I'm not just saying kindergarten just in this lifetime, like you've progressed this much farther in this lifetime than they did because you were smarter or whatever. No, they're in kindergarten and you're in, about to graduate from college because you've lived many more lives and had many more karmic lessons that you have already experienced. And so it's allowed you to get further along in your spiritual evolution. So you can have compassion and grace towards them and just realize they're acting this way because they just haven't learned their lessons
just don't
yet.
know.
But they're going to get there. They're going to get there. They're going to get all the way there. They're going to get all the way back to Source Creator. They're going to be amazing. They are going to be there. They are us. We are one. We are
And
all
the more
one.
I'm in my vibration, the more I help them out, raise
Yeah.
their vibration too. I mean, that's
Exactly.
okay. Wow, this is fucking awesome.
You're gonna rock that,
You're
Jim.
fucking right
You're gonna
about that.
rock.
It changes everything because I was getting nervous about it. And then as I get nervous about it, it brings up this, and then all of a sudden I'm not in wisdom. I'm in emotion, and I'm going to show up in wisdom, not emotion. I've shown up with emotion. I'm not doing that anymore. And so it just hit me tonight and I'm like, holy fuck, this is easy. Don't make it hard. It's easy. So it's awesome.
Can I say something?
Please. Why am I asking?
Yesterday we did something with Cheryl. And this is my card. And I'm gonna share it with you because I just felt that I had to. So it's a shame that Cheryl is not there anymore, but maybe Kathy can help me here.
It's recorded. Yeah. Oh.
The card was love in capital letters versus love in lowercase letters. And it said, the emotion of love is the byproduct expression of the energy of love in capital letters. The light in the room front lamp isn't electricity. It is the byproduct of the energy of electricity. What came to me is that you can hold that people in the love in capital letters. Yeah, in that huge love that for me God is. Yeah, it's so powerful that it's part of everyone. We are all a little piece of God, of love, of the love of God. And in my case, in this moment, sometimes I cannot hold or I cannot feel that love in lowercase letters for some people, yeah. But I can hold them in the love of capital letters because they are part of the whole. And we are all one. We all come from that huge love.
That's beautiful.
Yep. Can I say?
Post that too.
Can I say one more thing too, Thor?
Oh, please.
Um,
I'm not going anywhere.
I love that. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Can I add to that 1 second?
Yeah, Kathy wants to add to that.
One thing I can add to what Alexandra just said, if you can become the observer, you are no longer in it. So if you can actually step back and observe what it is you're trying to work through, it's a game changer.
And I'm going to add to that.
Okay.
So, I'm so glad you said that. This is another reason why I want you guys to read the love one. Because I want to be able to talk about this stuff with you guys. And if I have more people that know it,
I'm reading it.
amazing conversations. But anyway, one thing I love about the raw material is that they teach you neutrality. They teach you how to be, just by the nature of who they are. They don't have judgment on anything. And you just see how they are. And they come from a state of neutrality on everything. And it's beautiful. It's because they're closer to the creator, to that Christ consciousness. They embody that Christ consciousness more than we know how to yet at this point. But we are remembering. So, but yeah, just start to read that and just pay attention to how they embody that Christ consciousness and how they stay in that neutral state on everything. It's really beautiful.
It'd be nice to be neutral about things and not be up and down about stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with Jim. With we're reading that Living Untethered, Michael Singer's stuff, and it's it's the same concept, but it's just coming from a sixth density consciousness.
Time out. All right. So idea happened. We talked about this. So it's something that started prior to the retreats, which slowed a lot of stuff down with the dashboard that we were creating. We got to start a book club. We just named 2 books that we all got to read.
Yeah.
I say we start with the law of one because it has the number 1 in it.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we actually? Okay. So how about this? After Nashville, we're going to start the book club.
Love it.
Jim, you look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, I want to ask Lala, when you saw the blue being, a couple days ago, we know that we got to get our vibration up in order to meet them. Do you have any tricks that you got to that got you to a higher vibration? I mean, because
I I was in a Dr. Joe meditation.
I guess I'm trying to let go and surrender more. And I think that's.
Well, I will say this, man, I had that same day, we had the 6 a.m. meditation, and that same day we did another meditation. We did the one later in the day, and the one later in the day I came to, and I literally, all I can say about that meditation is I just showed up. I could not for the life of me, find a vibration higher than my ass. I mean,
Yeah, you're not going to meet the blue beings there.
and you're not going to meet the blue beings there. And so it's, for whatever reason, and actually Murad gave me he taught me he gave me a great tool for, to do. And ask him about that, because I could explain it to you. I've already used it since he gave it to me, but I probably wouldn't do it justice if I explained it. He basically, I'll try, but then ask him about it, because he can talk more about it. Because I was talking to him and Michael about just, about that meditation, about just getting in my head and just, all the things going through my head that keep me out of my Christ consciousness, during a meditation or whenever. And that's what was happening to me during that second meditation that day. And I just couldn't get into my dog joy, as Cheryl called it. I love that. That's the best too.
And then my sister did.
And utilize that, the dog joy. She talks about the dog joy to connect with the people from the, the other that have crossed over. Because if you can picture that dog joy, that really works for me. That's a default go-to for me now, the dog joy. Because I'll just picture I'll picture going and licking someone's face, like a dog. Anyway, no, what Murat said was, whatever it is that is, like, just take a pain, for example, like the pain, like just say pain in your back. If that's, plaguing you while you're trying to get into a higher vibration, or even if it's just a thought that keeps coming back to you that is, just annoying you, like a 3D thought. Murat said to take a golden frame, like a picture frame, and place it around that thought or that pain. Like if it's down here, place it around your lower back, and just let it encompass that pain or the thought or whatever it is that's keeping you out of that quantum higher vibrational space, out of that Christ consciousness. Put that golden frame around it. And then he said, I want you to, and he made me close my eyes and picture whatever it was. And then he said, okay, now I want you to put the golden frame around it. He said, is it there? I said, yep, I got the golden frame around it. He said, okay, now he said, first I want you to store away all the wisdom that you have from whatever that is, like what you've learned from it. If it's like the back pain or whatever, anything, any wisdom that you've gotten from it, store that away somewhere. He said, you don't have to know where it went, your body knows. He said, now take the picture frame that's encompassing that thing. And he said, I just want you to squash that picture frame down. He said, just start squashing it down and crushing it down. He said, just keep making it smaller, make it smaller. He said, play around with it. He said, make it sing if you want to, or, whatever you want to do with it. He said, but just squash it down until it's just really teeny tiny. And then he said, and then just throw it behind you, get rid of it, let it go. And so he said that that's just a really effective tool to use when these things are just not letting you be, you know, not letting you get into that higher vibrational state. Do you want to add to that, Michael?
Yes, part of the conversation, I just didn't even start talking about pride or the picture frame, shrinking it down and then putting it around your heart and making it expand.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Right.
yeah. There was that part of the conversation. That's
But
important.
here's maybe the interjection that I have. So while I was having the conversation, she said all this beautiful wisdom that she had learned, and then she used the word "but."
Can you get closer to the mic, Michael?
Well, I was sitting down. I was there sitting when she had this conversation with Murad. So she had this beautiful dissertation of all the things she's spiritually learned, and then she used the word "but." And Murad had the wisdom. He had mentioned this to us, I think, as a group a couple of weeks ago. When you use the word "but," you negate all of the wisdom and all of the things that you just learned, and you think you now believe "but." So I was a "but" guy. So, you know, hey, I know this, but, right? Logically, but I don't know this and I don't know that, right? So I say, my sense is that if you just trust that God is ultimately pure love, unconditional love, there's no fucking but. Go with that. Don't have any, it's the but that brings us up. But I got this, but I have that, but this is, I can't figure this out, but I can't figure that out. I can't figure this out. Stop with the but and just go with what you absolutely know. And there's no but. It's unconditional love. That's what you are. That's where you're going. That's what your journey is to learn. There's no but. That's kind of what I take from that.
Don't be a butt guy.
Well, I've even tried to just take it out of my vocabulary because I'll say, oh, this and this and this, but you know, but you know.
No, but.
I'll change the butts to ands.
Exactly. I feel like I've degraded what was ever said before.
Because that's saying something I can't hear.
Oh, no, I was just saying how using the word but will undermine everything that was said before. So like Thor was saying, take out the but and put and, or however it also is, instead of using the word but.
Right.
Because I'll catch myself saying it. I think it's just something we use to continue a conversation. But
right. We don't even think about it, but we should think about it.
That was properly used.
Words are important.
Words are important. As Cheryl
night,
said,
wrestler.
words are spells.
Yeah.
I know you guys are all like on the East Coast or something, but I gotta
No.
go. I'm like,
Yeah,
In Idaho.
it's 12:13 there.
Wait,
So
where are you, Leela?
in California. I mean, it's really early compared to where you are, but I'm gonna go.
Cosette, where are you?
don't be a butt.
Idaho.
Idaho?
I'm by Thor and
Yeah,
Lee.
I'm Washington. So
Yeah.
we're different time zones, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm an hour ahead. It's 10:14 here.
Hi, Lee.
Yeah,
We should all make that trip up to that ranch. I can
Oh my
take
God.
Amtrak up where you guys are, and
Yeah, it's bedtime.
Let's go.
we need to all be together
Yep.
at some point.
Yeah.
In
Coming
Portland.
very soon.
I still vote for Shasta, Robbie.
yeah.
Yeah, Shasta, it's,
Oh, yeah, West.
I used to live in Reading.
Yeah,
Right.
Thor votes for Shasta too.
So
yeah, no, Shasta's in the, Shasta's, it's gonna be Shasta. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
And that ranch, we should all go to that ranch.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend a Dr. Joe friend who I had coffee with today, and she and her partner have land in Southern Oregon near Azalea is the town. And they have property for a retreat. I might be going to visit her there this coming weekend. So let's make it happen.
It's gonna happen. It will. Hey, Hey, guys, look, I don't want to wrap this up, but we got the
No.
5 a.m. call in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to wrap it
I
up.
want to make sure, hold on. What'd you say, West Coast time?
I said, I want to wrap it up.
Well, I love you guys. I want to make sure, well, hold on. I want to make sure, everybody gets the platform just to make sure that everything was said before we get off though. But we're going to close it out though, but I do want to make sure that we can wrap it up properly without rushing.
I just want to say I love everyone, but I'm signing off because I gotta go to bed. All right. Bye, everybody.
Good night, Lee.
Bye.
Good night,
See you in
Lee.
Nashville.
Love you.
And I just want to say thank you for the amazing conversation. I learned a lot tonight, so thank you so much, Lala, for the cosmic wisdom and the spark for karma.
I'm just giving back because you guys
Yes,
have
you
given
are.
so much to me, and I'm thankful. Jim, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be in this group. So, yeah, I'm
I
grateful.
feel like I'm with my people.
Yeah.
You are.
Divine
people.
How many people can you have conversations about extraterrestrials with?
Exactly.
Talk about Egypt with, and
Not
and
only
maybe-
only conversations, but also like we already
Knowing.
we already know this. Like we're like, oh yeah, that's me too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shit, we've all been in Egypt together, probably. You know, we've
Literally.
been there.
Yeah.
You think we built the pyramids with our thoughts?
Yeah.
You do?
Well, I think Cosette did.
And that, so
Cosette,
that's
Sunday night.
that's
Cosette, you know-
another that's
Oh, no,
another
listen to
story
that.
though. That's going to be another story of why, if you're in the sixth one, you come down to the third one for
It's a choice.
for what
It's
reason?
a choice.
Same reason, but that's
It's a
okay.
wanderer
Not
thing.
now.
Yeah.
So, Cosette, you're definitely going to be a guest on this. You.
I'm a horrible speaker. I get shaky voice. I cry.
That's the emotion,
Tongue-tied.
baby. That's the emotion.
It is.
I want to let you know this. When you're ready, the platform's yours. And every single person that's had this platform has said the same exact thing as you, and it's changed their lives after they did this. So you're going to do it. Big time.
And we will all tune in.
Yeah. No, but if you want to, whenever you're ready. But seriously, and I think it might spark something for your son too. Like if you did it.
Yeah, he's not shy. He just doesn't like to talk a whole lot. So.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been amazing. This is wow. So hey, just so you know, next weekend's Easter Sunday, not something I celebrate, but I'm gonna give ourselves a night off. So we're gonna do it in 2 weeks. And
But are we gonna do it from Nashville?
oh my God, then Nashville's that Sunday. Okay.
So
You know
because
what?
Tez
Let me
isn't supposed to
speak-
be on, so I
Yeah,
sent
no, I
him the
know
wrong
that. Yeah, I
text.
was in
He's gonna give
communication
himself
with
2
him. I was
weeks
in
off.
communication. No, we're not giving 2 weeks off. So I didn't just say that. I didn't consider Nashville, so I'm not doing 2 weeks. So
I
we're
don't
gonna do
have
Easter
anything
Sunday.
going on Easter, so I can be here. I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do Easter Sunday. I'll figure out a way. I'll get it done. We'll do Easter Sunday. We'll definitely do
Even
it.
if it's shorter.
No, it's good. It's not the length of time. It's the matter of the platform, and I'll figure it out. I didn't think about Nashville when I said that, so thank you for saying that. Because I talked to him, or I sent him a message about that, but I'll detract it. Thank you for saying that. Because no, we're not going to do that. Here, this is your seat. So
That would be kind of fun though.
it's gonna be fucking amazing. It's gonna
No, Sunday from Nashville, that would be kind of fun.
No, yeah, but when I'm volunteering and I'm a study. I have zero.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, not gonna happen.
But yeah, we're definitely gonna do Easter. I take that back. There's only 6 people in the room, thank God. But guys,
I'm game.
Lala, you have opened so many minds up. Seriously, thank you so much for doing this. You're amazing.
Thank you, Lala.
Thank you, Lala.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys. I love
Thank you, Lala. You're so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You just blew my mind.
Good night, everybody. Love you guys.
Good night, everyone.
Love you all.
Night.
We do this because we want to.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Arsa. Bye, Cosette.
Bye, Robbie. Bye,
You guys-
Cosette. Bye, Lala.
Bye.